Thank you very much. Hi everyone, I'm M4. I am a paper nerd. I pretty much do nothing but work on this game and, you know, mod for the community and whatnot. This is a fantastic speed game. Along with myself, when I saw I was closing the marathon, I knew there was no way I could truly do the cause justice by myself, so I invited two of my very good friends, Starry Ari and Morpheus, to help me on commentary. This run is extremely difficult. It's probably the hardest category in this game as far as difficulty of execution to total length of the run goes. So I definitely needed the help. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
And I'm Ari. I work on this game a lot in terms of resources and such, and run reverse all cards a little bit. But I'm sure you'll hear about that later. We're going to do our best to explain all the crazy things going on in this run.
Okay. It looks like we might have some kind of audio issue. I don't think the stream was able to hear you guys.
Oh no.
I'm sure they know about it.
Give us one moment, chat. We know there's an audio issue, and we're gonna work to get that sorted out shortly.
So, yeah, I guess I might as well, if I'm audible, I might as well explain something really quick. You might notice that my file names are not, like, a single character like you would normally see. You know, for speedruns of a game in another language. This is actually the best approximation my community had to translate trans rights into the Paper Mario file select screen. It's a little, it probably doesn't say that at all, but that's what we were going for.
That's wonderful. And by the way, we should have that tech issue sorted out, so Morpheus, if you'd like to do your introduction again, that would be fantastic.
Alright, is this working? Hey guys, Morpheus here. I also run Paper Mario. Gonna be commentating tonight, M4's run, and hopefully trying to explain all of the tricks going on. It'll be a little bit of a fast-paced run, so bear with me and Ari. There is a lot going on pretty fast the whole time.
And I'm Ari. I work on a lot of resources for this game and run reverse all cards, which I'm sure you'll hear about later. We're going to do our best to explain this run. There's going to be probably no dead air at all, because there's so much to talk about with this game, and especially this category.
If there's going to be any dead air, it's going to be in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay,
I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alright, I think we're just about ready to start, but if I can say something really quick about the cause really quick, forgive me if I get a little quivery. I did not personally know the only kid, but I do know what it's like to lose somebody who's touched your heart. I lost my friend Jonathan, Misfits, in September of last year, and when I was going through our old chat logs, you know, reliving memories of my friend, I came across something interesting where he was telling me about about GigaDB's GDQ All Cards run back in 2018, and he knew I loved Paper Mario. It was my favorite game of all time. It has been my whole life pretty much. So he decided to come tease me about it, and he asked me, "Hey, M4, can you beat, you know, this time that Giga got," which at the time was a 3:04:16. And, you know, he knew I wanted to speedrun the game, but I didn't believe in myself enough, and I ended up telling him, you know, hell no. You know, there's no way I'm gonna beat that time, you know? Like, You're just messing with me. But I did eventually pick up this game to speedrun, and I did get good enough to do that. And today, I'm going to honor the only kid. I'm going to honor my friend Misfits, and I'm going to benefit the Trevor Project with this run, which is a cause that is very close to me as well. My community is largely LGBTQIA+. We run a safe space for people who like speedrunning and are marginalized folk, and we do that in a world without a lot of truly safe spaces for us. And let me tell you, it is an absolute honor and opportunity to be able to run in this marathon, let alone close it. So thank you all so much. So how does time work? Do I just count down to when I start the run, or?
Yep, you're gonna do a countdown and then we'll start the timer.
Alrighty, you guys ready?
Ready
Let's
when you
go.
are.
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off. So first thing to talk about in this game is the text mashing, and there is none. You actually just hold B, and that is the fastest way to advance text. It's very good. There's
very
no mashing
comfy.
done. You get to just sit and chill during all of the cutscenes.
Yeah.
I guess we should talk a little bit about all cards. So, MX4, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so, most speedrun categories have names that are fairly standardized across games, such as any percent, 100%, stuff like that. All cards is a little different, and we call it all cards because there are chapter cards that contain the star spirits we need to save that spawn when we defeat the bosses, assuming we didn't do something wrong during our time travel, but we'll get to that later. And the requirement of the category is that we collect all of those cards, which essentially translates into beating all chapters as fast as possible by any means necessary, and touching the cards. And this category has a long history of being the most popular category ever since any percent had a discovery that ended up skipping the last 2 chapters of the game. So that trick that I'm referring to is called Peach Warp, and we actually do that once in this run, kind of later on.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But basically, the discovery of this trick made any percent very, very, very RNG dependent to even finish a run. We're talking, like, even with modern Paper Mario knowledge, the penultimate boss in the game is only a 35% chance, roughly, to get past him. And that's terrible. Nobody liked it. And at that time, before that, any percent was a very, it was a very popular category. It actually resembles what any percent no Peach Warp is like today. So this trick being found in any percent did 2 things. 3. It made any percent very difficult to even finish, which upset a lot of people who love this game. And as a result, the community decided to create a legacy category for any percent called any percent no Peach Warp. And that category, which is still on our main boards today, is what any percent looked like before the discovery of Peach Warp, plus some modern optimizations. The other major effect of this is that all cards, which was just a very young category at the time, ended up becoming the most popular category in this game by far. Because it didn't have that RNG that people didn't like, back when any percent became what it was today. And on top of that, there were a lot of flashy tricks that you would do in all cards that you would never have had to do, in any percent, because you're skipping so many things. So it developed into this very flashy alternative category that was basically the be-all end-all of Paper Mario speedruns. If you were a Paper Mario speedrunner, you probably played all cards back, in 2014, 15, 16. It was the most popular for viewership and to play, you know, by far, because of the high skill ceiling and the fact that the ending was consistent.
And the fact that it's fun. This category is really fun.
I agree. It is very fun. You get to go through all of the chapters at a reasonable pace compared to something longer like 100% or glitchless. And it doesn't have anywhere near the amount of bad RNG that any percent would have. So it's just a very nice, happy medium between both ends of the spectrum.
Anyway, we kind of got clocked there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I guess we did lose that fight, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of got bodied, and this is scripted, fortunately. Unfortunately, however, it's responsible for it's responsible for the beginning of this game being really slow. We mentioned that if there was any dead air earlier, it would likely be during the first 6 minutes, and this is why. You have to watch this every time you're starting a run. And on top of that, there is a notoriously difficult trick that saves a minute about 9 minutes into the run, right after you gain control of Mario again, pretty much. And this causes a lot of resets in the community. Any category that does junior skip, it's really, really unusual for a runner to get more than a few attempts out of prologue every day. So it kind of contributes to a culture of, you know, everyone who runs this game really, you know, complaining about prologue, because it's like, there's so much time where you're not doing anything. You're just holding B and you're reading your chat and, you know, talking to people. So this game starts slow, but as soon as we get to chapter 1, it's going to take off, and it is not going to stop all the way until the end, more or less.
While we're talking about that cutscene, I want to let chat know, if you were watching that cutscene carefully, you may have seen a majestic man wearing a green hat. That is Luigi, and we want to bring him to the party. We still do have time. How long would you say into the run we need to decide whether or not Luigi has an invitation?
Well, the cool thing about that is that Luigi Skip happens in the last 50 seconds of the run, so we have pretty much the entire time. If you want, like, if you want a hard cutoff for that, the easiest place to do that would be when Bowser goes down at the end of the game.
We're gonna... Spoilers! Wow, oh my goodness.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Awesome. Chat, you heard him. We have time to bring Luigi to the party. Not all hope is lost. We only need another $385, if my math is correct, to make that happen. So please keep these donations coming.
And it looks like we're off. We finally have control of Mario again.
I guess this is a good enough time to talk about the movement and the fastest way to move in this game.
Absolutely.
So, basically, you see Mario spinning pretty much everywhere like this. This is absolutely the fastest way to move in the game. Mario's default walking speed isn't the fastest, but if you only press the Z button to spin, Mario will have a little stopping animation. So what you want to do is you want to jump out of the end of all of your spins. So you hit max speed of your spin and then jump out, and you just repeat that over and over and over. And you would just want to chain that for pretty much every room in the game. There's very few spots that you would willingly walk somewhere because you just don't have the space to spin. And
yeah, and this is one of the things that contributes to the movement in this game being so fun. Compared to a lot of other RPGs, you are constantly spinning, and you got to take very precise angles to get to go fast in this game. There's a huge skill ceiling. It's so big on how fast you can go just with movement alone. But more importantly, now we are approaching Junior Skip, and we should talk about loading zone storage. So you may have noticed there are panels at the edges of rooms that will take you to the next room. These are called loading zones. And we can store a loading zone by doing frame-perfect jumps. So this game runs at 30 frames per second, so a frame-perfect jump is going to be one of those 30 frames. And this is not just pressing the A button. We also need to flick the stick at the same time we press A to get Mario moving there. And this will allow us to move around the room while storing this loading zone. And then when we stop doing loading zone storage, Mario will take the loading zone. So we can use this for a couple of things. The first here, we're skipping a boss fight with Junior Troopa and collecting the hammer by activating that bush at the end of our loading zone storage jumps. Again, I cannot stress how difficult this is. It is double frame perfect. You can't just hold the stick, like hold left there to have Mario jump, because if the stick is not neutral when you jump, Mario will take the loading zone. So it's very, very difficult. It's a huge wall for new players to get over. And there's a lot of routes that don't do that trick because of it. But yeah, second try Junior Skip I saw, I think.
Yeah. Second try, unfortunately the first one made it all the way to the bush, so that was the slowest possible second try, but that's okay. The jumps were pretty good, so as long as my LTS looks like that for the rest of the run, we're probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
definitely in good shape.
That interaction with the bush also happens to be frame perfect because you have Mario has one frame to do anything on the ground while taking a loading zone, whether it be like, it's usually just a jump or a spin, but on that one frame you can also interact with something, and the frame you happen to take the bush or interact with the bush, it just gives you the hammer immediately, so that's why that works out that way.
Oh, and keep an eye out. Yeah, keep an eye out when Mario's taking loading zones. You may see Mario pull out the hammer for a frame. This is called a swag hammer. It does absolutely nothing.
But it looks cool.
But there is a frame. There is a frame where you can hammer. So the first thing we're going to do here is put on power jump. This is like actually an absurdly powerful badge.
This badge is
for how
broken.
early we get it.
It is the first thing you get in the game. It is so good.
What it does is it's going to increase Mario's power by 2 on a jump. I guess, yeah, 2 over what you would normally deal with a jump.
That's accurate. What it does is it adds, with the action commands, it puts together the total damage of the jump and then adds 2, and that's how much damage power jump does.
Okay, close
enough. Oh, so that's how it scales. Okay, today I learned. Yeah, we have Goombario here. He's our first partner, and he's gonna get some usage throughout here in Prologue. We have the Goomba Bros here. Not the most difficult fight, you just have to power jump each one once and head bonk the red, and then with the Fire Flower we picked up earlier after Junior Skip, it's gonna be here to finish both of them off to save some time to skip a cutscene.
Yeah. We're gonna see a lot of item use over the first couple chapters of this game. Items are usually really fast. At this point in the game, we don't have any tools to deal with multiple enemies, so we're going to be using items for a lot of multiple enemy fights.
Yep.
Eating the Goom Nut here to restore some FP, which we will need for the next fight.
Yeah, now we've got the Goomba King, and a really long cutscene. I've never noticed how long this cutscene is, but it wasn't until someone pointed out to me how long this one in particular is.
You don't even have to hold B for a lot of it. I could put my controller down for the next 20 seconds and not lose any time.
While we're watching this cutscene, mind if I just cut in with a quick donation?
Go right ahead.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. We have $5 from Uncle Gramps, who says, $5 train, all aboard! $5 train would go a long way towards helping us reach our goals. So chat, if you want to hop on this $5 finale train, now's your chance.
Please ensure we take Luigi to this party. It's very important.
He's very lonely. He could use some of our help, and you guys can help us do that, in fact. All you gotta do is make sure we hit $12,000 by the time the final boss goes down, and yeah, we can bring Luigi to the party, make his day. I think that'd be a nice thing to do, don't you guys?
Oh, speaking of incentives, I believe we are doing the FX. We are. So we're gonna be picking up some fun badges along the way that are gonna make this experience a lot sillier.
Try not to laugh while I'm power bouncing blooper challenge impossible.
Oh man. That'll be rough.
In practice runs for this, I had a really hard time not dropping it because I was laughing at, like, while I was power bouncing. So we'll we'll see if I can hold it together this time. Hopefully, I can. So this is another really long cutscene. Something we didn't mention about the movement, by the way, is that it's actually, like, optimal movement is frame perfect in this game, which is one of the reasons that the skill ceiling is so high, as Ari mentioned earlier. You can tell, watch my movement in this room, you can tell by the height of my jumps and the sound when, the sound of the spin when I jump, how close I was to a frame perfect input. So if we have a frame perfect jump, then you'll see Mario, like, barely leave the ground to the, you know, smallest extent that he can. And this actually matters a little bit. Each extra frame that you hold A for actually is, like, 2 frames of time lost or something, because you're in the air, you rise for an extra frame, then you fall for an extra frame, more or less, so... those inputs really add up, and unless you're doing, like, a side-by-side of a top player versus a high-level player, it's actually very hard to see visually, like, the time loss or time save that somebody is getting in any particular room, just due to how precise, like, all of the movement is.
I guess we should maybe cover what's going on in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So
How did we get 15 minutes in without talking about that? That's amazing.
Yeah. So what's going on in this game? Bowser has stolen this artifact called the Star Rod, which the star spirits use to grant people's wishes. And now Bowser is granting his own wishes, the first of which was to put his castle under Peach's castle and take them both into the air. And we saw in that first fight that Bowser used the Star Rod's power to become invincible. So we're gonna have to go and rescue all the Star Spirits because they're the only thing that can help us stop the Star Rod. And that's basically what's going on.
Yeah, and all the
collecting a
bosses,
star piece here.
all of the bosses you fight throughout the game are all basically souped up versions of regular Mario enemies, like you saw with Goomba King. They've all just been souped up by Bowser's Star Rod, so it's a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah, so you wouldn't normally see us pick up that star piece, but we are gonna get one of those sound effects badges that we were talking about earlier. So a quick detour for that.
This is actually going to make the failed swag hammers all the more entertaining for y'all.
Oh, it sure is. Now, this would actually be faster to get later on when we have a slightly faster way to move, but that's so much time without the badge, and
Yeah.
we want to hear as much of it as possible.
We're trying to have fun here.
There you go.
That's what it sounds like, by the way. And I will be going for swag hammers fairly often during this run. Not everywhere, but if I feel comfortable going for it, I am going to do so you guys get more of the sound effects goodness.
You get to see the fabled sign jump there.
Very, very legendary technique, only known to a select few. AKA just the people who play bingo, basically.
Yeah, you may notice there was not a lot of jumping going on during that section of movement. So every time there's a small ledge, if Mario spins into that ledge, it will automatically cancel the spin. What this means is we can go really fast, and sometimes you may even see us go out of our way to hit small ledges like that so that we don't have to slow down to jump. One of the cool movement optimizations in this game.
Yep, that's pretty much accurate. One thing I can add to this, we're playing on the N64 version of Paper Mario, so on that menu right there, you get a few of those per run where the screen goes white and you get a dialog box with like 3 different options. The options are, you know, continue and save, save and quit, and continue don't save. The N64 is a bit of a potato, having come out in 1996, so if you menu down to continue don't save, you actually save, what is it, like roughly, I can't remember if it's 4 frames or like a little over 1 frame. But if you click continue don't save, you actually save a little bit of time, which is funny. Obviously, we're not going to do that in this run just in case I explode somewhere and need to revert to a save, but That's just some interesting knowledge that only people who run this game on N64 would know.
Yeah, notably about versions, the Nintendo 64 is not the fastest version of this game, but it is the most user-friendly. Other versions of this game, specifically the Wii U, which is very fast because of loading times and such, and lack of lag, it has issues with inputs and dropping them. So we prefer to run on the Nintendo 64, which respects your inputs.
Yeah, very, very few people actually run on any of the VC versions of this game for that reason. If somebody runs on VC, usually it's because they're either like trying to get the all-tab record. We have our world records separated by console because of the accessibility, and also then 64 being the best version. To run on. So we actually celebrate at this point, I think five different world records if you include alt-tab of these games. A lot of them are the same run across both versions, or rather, sorry, a lot of the N64 records are also alt-tab records at this point, just because all the competition is there. But we do celebrate it for every console because we don't have an accurate way to know exactly how much they save or lose at this point, just because it's in lag and how much time you spend on a screen matters, and then there's loading screens. It's just a mess to time it, so we decided to celebrate, everybody's accomplishments on every console, more or less.
A couple of things we need to get to real quick. We just got action commands. Up until now, every fight has just been like press your action and watch Mario do it. Now we have action commands, so we are going to have to do specific inputs for each of our attacks to get a more powerful effect. We also have the ability to block, which we're going to see a lot of. Blocking will reduce an attack's damage by 1. And we can use this to manipulate our HP, which is very important for later. What you're seeing right now is Black Toad Skip. This guy walks back and forth. Oh no.
You're witnessing some marathon luck right now.
Yeah.
This clip is very obnoxious. It depends on the green toad staying to the right side.
Oh wow.
And if he stays in place, you have a 2-frame window to clip into the ledge. If he walks
Wow, this is
away,
brutal.
you happen to have 1 frame to clip in.
Dude,
Oh
Man,
my gosh.
He is
horrible.
brutal.
This is really bad.
I've probably lost over 30 seconds to this
Wow.
toad.
He just does not stay on the right side.
We call this guy the Green
my
Devil
gosh.
sometimes because
He's really living up to
he
it.
Yeah.
can do this. At this point, I definitely would have reset already if this were a PB attempt just to this guy. So that's another
But
reason
now the-
people in this game don't like Prolong very much.
Now that we've clipped onto the ledge, we go out of bounds and fly into the post office. And with some fancy maneuvering out of bounds again, you can fall off the next ledge for 1 frame, and then fall off, and then fall into the loading zone behind the Black Toads, and that's how you skip having to do that whole cutscene with Merlon and the Black Toads.
Yeah, another thing I want to mention, you may see that Mario fell under the floor and then mysteriously appeared back up at the top.
Yeah, I'll let you handle that.
This is because Paper Mario has a very strange gravity function that looks totally normal in normal gameplay circumstances, but when Mario falls out of bounds and is falling for a long time, he'll actually shoot back up after a while, just because of how the gravity function is implemented. And this allows us to fall out of bounds and then appear at the space above where we were out of bounds, like under the floor. So there's going to be a lot of, or actually there isn't that much out of bounds maneuvering in this specific run.
Staircase skip, rap skip are the 2 I can think of.
Stanley
Yeah, there's a few. We'll be going under the floor a couple times. But yeah, that's Paper Mario.
That was our second sound effects badge, by the way. So now whenever Mario jumps or hammers an enemy or hammers in the field, it's gonna play one of the 2 sound effects chosen at random. So we have 2 different sounds that might pop out. We're not we're mostly using items in Chapter 1, so we're not going to hear a lot of that for a bit, but just know that those are there, and whenever I fail a swag hammer, there's going to be a 50-50 chance of either sound effect, which I think is very silly, and I love this game for it.
Yeah, we did buy a lot of items there. We are gonna need 50 coins by the end of chapter 1, but we still have some to spend because we're gonna get a lot later. And getting those items is going to significantly speed us up through this chapter. This is the fuzzy minigame. The fuzzies jump a random number of times. This is very frustrating.
Yeah, you could lose several seconds to this.
Yeah, this was nerfed over in the Western release of this game because it was, I guess, too difficult for us. Which...
Yeah, you're gonna see with this third one right here, they are very fast.
I always thought, like, when I started learning this game, I was like, man, my reaction time must be really bad now. I must be getting old. And nope, they just made it way easier for the West.
Yeah, speaking of versions, again, we are playing on the Japanese version. That is because it saves significant amount of time just from having less text.
And exclusive tricks.
Yeah, there's a couple of exclusive tricks. Well, there's English alternatives for all of them, but they are much harder, so... In addition to saving time on text, we also get to do a couple of easier tricks. These fuzzies were not prepared for the fire flower.
No, they're really not.
Yeah, no.
They have 3 HP each, so this ends the fight instantly, which is really kind of funny. We don't even have to be healed for that. Just buy a fire flower at the shop and you're good to go. They can't do anything about it. Excuse my trains. I live a block away from some train tracks, so you're probably gonna hear some of those from time to time. There isn't a whole lot I can do about that. I don't even know. You probably can't hear it, but my room is also vibrating. Nice coin RNG.
Yeah, so every time a coin comes out of a bush, it is completely random which direction it goes. And sometimes typically they tend to go exactly the opposite direction you want them to.
Yeah, and actually, just between the coin RNG and the green toad, the RNG on this run is actually looking, like, horrible so far. Like, this is really,
that
really
green toad
bad.
was so
like,
bad.
That paratrooper placement?
Oh, jeez. Don't do it, dude. Okay.
Okay. I was a little afraid there.
That paratroopa is notorious for touching Mario's forehead as you try to cross that bridge.
He's also, like, RNG to the point where no matter what you do, there's something the paratroopa can do to encounter you. And encounters in this game, especially before the end of Chapter 1, are really, really bad. Because you have to collect your coins. We've been saving up coins to purchase a certain badge after the end of Chapter 1. And, yeah, not being able to get that would result in some very, very slow backups, and thankfully, hopefully, we're not going to have to do that in this run, but, you know, whatever happens, happens. We'll see what Chapter 1 has to say. RNG so far has been very, very unkind. Hopefully that turns around pretty quickly.
Yeah, that key... The direction that key goes is random too. We hope that it goes in the direction of the lock, but usually it doesn't. Another thing we should mention is the enemy placement in rooms is random. They have a range that they can be in, and the game randomly determines where they're going to be standing in that pattern, which can be frustrating sometimes. One of the harder parts of this game is learning each room and how to dodge all the enemies in the fastest way, depending on where they are.
I do want to just let you know we do have some donations I'd love to read. Let me know when it's a good time.
Oh, okay. Just a second here. We have Staircase Skip here. So we're making use of Mario's paper thinness to go to the top of those stairs and like tap down and then up again to like slide between the stairs and the fence below. And we can actually reach the area below that room, which the staircase is supposed to descend to. And because the staircase is supposed to descend to that, it has no actual floor, and we can fall through it. And again, that gravity function I mentioned that shoots us back up after a while will allow us to get to the loading zone behind the door, which we can then step forward through and activate the door normally. This skips a significant section where we have to do a lot of fights. And we're going to go straight to getting Bombette. We are still going to do those fights, but we're going to have Bombette's help, and it's going to be a lot faster because of it.
Yeah.
She's a very powerful partner.
Just to mention, that loading zone we went was upstairs, not the one that was on the right side from where we started Staircase Skip. So we went all the way from the basement to the second floor in an instant.
Yep.
Yeah. Now is a good time for donations.
Awesome. We had $20 come in from the Agent Zero, who says hashtag GNU the only kid. Thank you so much for that. We also had $50 come in from Catamario777, who says flavored Luigi skippers and Goombas, I guess. And we have $5 come in from Torx, who says, what do you call it when a certain Cheep Cheep spins around? A sushi roll. Good luck. Good luck, Ryan. This donation goes towards the Luigi conservation effort, and we are only $330 away from bringing Luigi to the party, absolutely making Luigi's weekend. Right now, I am picturing him sitting at home, watching the stream with bated breath to see if he gets to come to the party. Please, chat, help us make that happen.
Yeah, I definitely heard some names I recognize there. Thank you guys.
Oh, I love you guys. Those are really funny.
So we should talk about Bombette a little bit. So her ability, Bomb, can blow up walls, which is absolutely required to complete this game, as there are some walls later on that we cannot progress past without her. Also, we can use this ability to first strike enemies in the field, dealing a massive amount of damage. Yeah, that one is really hard because that guy is totally RNG, as we mentioned.
It's RNG, and
one
it's
single bomb.
Kind of finicky because the visual for her explosion's pretty big. The hitbox is not actually that big, unfortunately. Probably because they knew it was kind of overpowered, how much damage she was doing.
Yeah. So this is a fright jar.
Please run. Don't do it. Oh, thank you. I was so
We're
scared.
lucky.
I got a double date the other night while practicing. I was worried that was going to happen here.
Yeah, so that item does not always scare those guys away. What's the chance on that one? Is it 90% or 95?
90 for each of them, so it's 80.
90 for each.
It is 81% for both of them to run away, and 1% for both of them to make your life terrible.
Yeah, for Bombette's body slam there, you may have noticed we held A for a while and then released it. You can actually release A immediately and she will slowly fly across the battlefield to hit the enemy. So we actually want to help her all the way until she stops in front of the enemy and then release to get the fastest possible body slam when we need to deal just 1 damage. These fire bars will release 10 coins if you jump over them 10 times, but they also get faster, as you may notice. We're gonna need these coins, so we're gonna jump over these. It doesn't lose that much time. And it's definitely worth it for the badge we're gonna pick up.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
Whoa, that pattern.
it's RNG where those coins go.
That's incredible. Wow, it doesn't really make up for the green toad, like, at all, but I would be very happy if I got that in a PB attempt. I'd be popping off.
Yeah, that whole series of fights was very well executed.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like my execution's been okay, but the RNG may be a little
It's
less
just the
so.
green toad.
Yeah, mostly just the green toad.
Yeah, so we do need to complete Chapter 1 as per the definition of all cards, so we will be going through the Koopa Bros Fortress. A lot of categories actually just leave after getting Bombette.
Yeah, now we have pie jumps coming up. Named after I ate your pie. Way
One of
back
the
in the day.
OG all-card speedrunners, in fact.
Yeah. Basically, you can get really far down on this platform.
Wow, wow, wow.
Ooh.
Did you see that? I didn't
Yeah.
get the visual cue, and I still fell. That's really unlucky. Oh well.
Yeah, this is called the Walk of Shame.
Yeah.
We were hoping not to see any walks of shame on this stream, but Yeah, pie jumps are very difficult. They save a little bit of time as opposed to hitting the switch.
I lost about 40 seconds going for a 12-second time save. Yeah, checks out.
Is it only 12? That
It
hurts
is
me.
only 12 seconds, yeah.
That hurts me. I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, so you can actually see the camera zoom out when you're in the right position. It's pretty slight, but it is definitely there. That's how we know, yeah. Okay, those were good.
Yeah, it's interesting that Chapter 1, like, when you have to beat Chapter 1, besides Staircase Skip, it's mostly just done in a glitchless manner. Now,
Yeah,
not many of the
in the game,
chapters
we don't have...
end up that
Sorry,
way.
go ahead.
Yeah, not many of the chapters end up looking like this, like glitchless.
Yeah, at this point in the game, we don't have too many tools to break through a lot of areas, so we are mostly playing this game, or playing this part as intended.
Chapter 1 is honestly one of the harder chapters in the game, too. And I'm not just saying that because I missed a pie jump. It is, like, genuinely really hard to, like, avoid enemies in here, and then you have pie jumps on top of that. And Staircase Skip, while not too difficult, like, every fail costs you, like, over 5 seconds because you gotta reposition yourself.
I think
It's
it adds
just a
up to like
mess.
10. It's really brutal.
Yeah, and then there's this room. This room is
Yeah.
also rather notorious for being pretty difficult to get through. If you have a laggy TV, good luck.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so the first three are always shot the same way, and then after that, it's totally random.
very fun room, and because of how fast Mario can spin in conjunction with how fast bullet bills fly at you, you can't reasonably react to bullet bills flying at you while spinning, so you kind of just have to respect them and just walk a little bit.
I almost spun into one of them right there. I was gonna go for the top one because the middle one was like about due to fire, but I got minimum interval on the top cannon, so I almost got shot.
Yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah, I physically recoiled. I know I'm not using a webcam or anything, but like that's really terrifying when something like that happens. And you know, you might not pick up on that unless you're familiar with this game, but that was almost a disaster. If you get an encounter on that screen, because it's in Chapter 1, you have to get all your coins back, ideally, and that is very difficult when you are being shot at by cannons, so...
So our first boss here, boss of Chapter 1, is Bowser.
Wow, so early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came all the way down to greet us himself. What a nice guy.
He looks a little different, though, don't you think?
Just a little tacky. Yeah, he looks tacky. I wonder why. Maybe he didn't pretty up before he got before he left his house this morning.
Whoa, he
Maybe
just
he
exploded.
Wow! Wow! This is crazy. Imagine the hidden secret of the giant paper mache Bowser. By the way, that boss is one of the very, very few instances of a 3D model being used in this game instead of sprites.
We will see a few more.
Yeah, here's the Koopa Bros. They're total pushovers, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, their downfall is that they are Koopas, and they can be defeated with a POW block.
Yeah. Bowser might soup them up, but he didn't do that great a job considering all that did was give them 1 more HP and the ability to stand on top of each other.
To be fair,
stuff.
it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
It looks
Yeah, we don't get to
really
see their
cool.
attack, but it is really cool. So this is our first Star Spirit, Eld Star.
Pretty good Star
So
Spirit to
after,
have, to be honest.
yeah, after every chapter, there is a Peach intermission where we get to run around Peach's castle and try to uncover information for Mario. So we'll have the first of those after this.
Yep, so
While we're
this
doing
is...
those, do you have time for a few donations?
Oh, absolutely.
Go right ahead.
Nothing happens during this scene.
Awesome. We have $50 come in from Anonymous. They didn't leave a comment, but thank you so much for that. And we had $25 come in from That Guy Kim1201, who says, had to donate for such a great cause. Hope to see more marathons like this from FPE. And I'm sure we'll see more marathons from the Fast Paced Events team. If you too would like to know when more marathons are happening from that team, you can check out their Twitter account over at twitter.com/fastpacedevents. That'll keep you up to date on what's coming up next from the fantastic team that helped us pull this one together. And we are getting ever closer to Luigi's Invitation. Luigi's Invitation now only costs $255. That doesn't have to all be from one person. We can all work toward getting Luigi that invite. So please, we don't have too much to go, but we do need to hit that before we get to that final Bowser fight. So help us out if you can. Would you like me to keep going? I could talk about the charity forever.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, go for it.
You have
We're just reading. We're just reading Bowser's Diary. Nothing major is going on here.
Unfortunately, we can't read Japanese, so we don't know what it says. But Peach can read Japanese, and she's the one who needs to know.
Peach is incredible. Well, everyone, I want to remind you that we are raising money for the Trevor Project. They are the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. The organization works to save young lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend their time, a 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and soon-to-come integrations with social media platforms. For example, Trevor Chat is a free, confidential, and secure instant messaging service that provides live help for LGBTQ youth by trained volunteers. Visit thetrevorproject.org/help. That is available 24/7. So that website, one more time, is thetrevorproject.org/help.
Also, big shout out to all the runners and all the staff behind this event. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I was absolutely floored to have been. Oh, jeez, that
paratrooper. That's twice.
I'm absolutely floored to have been chosen for this event at all. Honestly, the cause means so much to me. Whew. It's definitely stressful. I've been playing a little on edge. I can feel it, but you know that's okay. The experience is more than enough for about 90% of the game.
The RNG's definitely not making it easy for you.
Also true.
Yeah. So this is Junior Troopa. We were supposed to fight this guy in prologue, but we skipped him. So he's gonna ask us a question, and it's gonna be, do you remember me?
Yeah, and I'm gonna say no, because...
I've never seen this guy.
Literally who? I don't know. I've never met him before.
It is actually faster to say yes, but it is funnier to say no.
It's funnier and it's correct, I would say.
Yeah, this is the recurring, rival fight throughout the game. You fight him multiple times, but in a speedrun setting, you probably fight him at most twice, unless you play glitchless.
Yeah, there are 6 fights with him in the game, but because of the power of time travel, we actually only fight him twice in all cards.
Yeah, in any percent, you fight him once.
We can avoid all the story sequence triggers that cause him to show up.
We'll get to that later, don't worry.
Yeah, the time travel has not started yet.
Yeah.
You know what hasn't stopped, though? More RNG.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to get 4th try Speedy. I'm so excited.
So, we were collecting coins throughout Chapter 1 so that we can buy this badge called Speedy Spin, which is going to make us go really fast. Unfortunately, this badge shop has 3 badges on display, and there are 4 possible badges. What this means is it's a 75% chance to get Speedy Spin, and there it is.
First try.
So, first try.
So I apologize for cutting in here, but we just hit $12,000 raised for charity. That is $12,000 for the Trevor Project. That does mean that Luigi is invited to the party. So thank you again, everyone, so much for helping us get to this incredible milestone.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
Luigi will be happy too.
I'm really happy for him. He doesn't get out of the house enough. So this is a great opportunity for him to get some fresh air. He's always stuck inside. He's stuck inside homekeeping all the time because Mario's always off on his adventures. If you go talk to him in this game, he actually complains about that in his diary. You can go read his diary in Mario's house.
More diary reading. Don't mind it.
Yeah, we're very nosy in this run.
You may have noticed we talked to a plant there on the way over to the train. That's a bubble. The bubbles give us magical seeds. We need 4 of those to get into Chapter 6. So we're going to be talking to 3 more bubbles over the course of the run. And having to talk to them is responsible for one of the more difficult tricks, which we are going to see pretty soon.
I'm worried.
I believe
you'll do
about
great.
Early seed, I'll be honest.
So this is Mount Rugged. This area has a lot of really fun movement and a couple tricks. We are about to run into Parakarry, who is going to be our 3rd partner. Spoilers. Parakarry is a really powerful fighter, and we're going to make use of him a lot throughout this run. But first, we need to go collect the 3 letters he dropped.
Yeah.
He's very good at his job.
He's kind of a clumsy mailman, to say the least. So he sends us to go do it for him instead.
It's also
I'm sorry, Waka.
It's also explicitly his fault that we have to do early seed, because if he just came with us to retrieve his letters, we wouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here is rock climb. Oh no. So you have to hold between up and upright, and then return to neutral to land on this little piece of collision that's sticking out here. And if you do so, you can jump up to the top here.
Yeah, it's just enough out of bounds that you can just jump up to the left after landing on the rock.
There we go.
Now that trick is exceptionally difficult for me because I use a Hori Pet Mini, but I learned it a little better because I wanted to show it off at this marathon. It's just one of those cool little things. So the big problem, the reason that my controller makes that difficult is because it has a very small dead zone. All Hori Pet Minis actually have this. The fact that the stick is so good makes tricks where the stick has to be reset to neutral very, very hard, because the dead zone is absolutely tiny, and your stick has to be neutral fully to land and like stick to the rock. So, I was kind of expecting to just fail there for a little while just because of how hard that is.
Yeah, so right here, this is early seed. So we're gonna hold just slightly left of up, and then reset our analog stick to make
Ooh,
our
nice.
default angle. That's very nice. Our default angle move us slightly down right. What this is gonna do is let us squeeze into this little hole between those rocks and fall down onto the rock below. Then we can do fun out of bounds things and fly back up on the other side. We would normally need Parakarry's help to get across that gap, but we can go and get the seed right now, which is gonna save a lot of time. That was really good execution.
Yeah, that was really fast.
That's one of the fastest early seeds I've ever seen.
Do we keep track of things that have never happened before here? Because what just happened with that extra fall out of bounds, the first one was not on purpose. I've never done that before or seen
I
it
thought you were
happen
gonna
before.
land up top again.
Yeah, I did. I panicked a little bit. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do it again. But I especially because I tapped right on my stick briefly, so I thought I was gonna land in bounds in 3 different places. But we are good. That's one of the hardest tricks in the game.
Yeah, it is a frame perfect input. You have to spin and then 1 frame later press left to land on that rock. It's very difficult. And that execution was perfect.
Yeah, all of the angles have different positions that work with the clip too, so it's never the same, and you have to adjust pretty much on the fly for what angle you use. Very difficult trick.
So interesting that we're leaving Chapter 2, huh? That's a very odd decision to make in a category where we have to beat Chapter 2,
why are we
don't
doing
you
that?
think?
Don't worry, we'll get to it.
There's a very good reason that is going to be steadily apparent throughout the run, but we are doing a lot of time travel in all cards for several reasons, but for now I gotta focus.
It's time for the most famous trick in the game, Blue House Skip. Usually, you'd
So-
usually see people jump into the house immediately, but like M4 was saying earlier, their Hori pad is very finicky with tricks they have to be neutral on the control stick. And so they're gonna LZS into the house and skew their angle to get inside. Very nice, like second try was that?
And the first
Nice.
one was
That's pretty
really
good.
fast.
Yeah, so you may have noticed when Mario is entering a new room, the game remembers what angle Mario entered the loading zone from, so that he can walk into the new room from that direction. It's kind of like a immersion kind of thing. But we can actually use this to our advantage. If we make Mario enter the loading zone from a really, really far angle, Mario will enter the new room and fall out of bounds immediately. And what this does, again, because of the weird gravity in this game, Mario will fly back up into an area of our choice. In that case, putting us directly in the blue house. So this is our first use of Power Bounce here. Power Bounce is a very powerful badge we picked up in Chapter 1, and as long as we hit the action command, Mario will keep bouncing on an enemy and dealing damage. However, most bosses have random caps that can occur. If Mario flies off of the enemy, you got capped, and you have been forcibly stopped from Power Bouncing. Wow, that's...
How many was that?
That's pretty good. That was really... That was a lot.
I got 10 and 13, so we very narrowly got a 2-turn blooper.
That was really good, yeah.
Really good.
Also, it's very hard not to laugh while the sound effects are playing while doing that. Each
Yeah.
of those inputs after like the fifth jump is 2 frames. It's very goofy to do that with the sound effects badges on. I love it personally.
Yeah, that was a very good blooper fight, though. Sometimes it takes 3 turns, even with all the partner actions, because you just get 8 capped twice, and it's, yeah.
Yeah.
We like to see 10 and 13. So this is our actual first instance of time travel. By talking to Colorado here, we are setting our story position to Chapter 5. So the game keeps track of our story and where we are. In order to load things that we've already done and to make sure the game is, has the next story thing coming up. So now the game thinks that we're in Chapter 5. So we have effectively, in the game's eyes, beaten Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're gonna use this to our advantage, and we're gonna see a lot more instances of time travel, forward and backward. But for now, we're gonna get our next partner. Definitely not actually our 4th partner, but the 4th one to us, Sushi.
Sushi's our 5th, actually.
It is, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about Goombario.
Goombario.
I know Goombario's very forgettable because he doesn't do anything, but
Oh no.
He actually won't
Yeah,
even show up for Lantern Ghost.
Yeah,
How sad.
we're not gonna see
yeah,
him.
he is involved in a slightly risky version of one of our boss fights, and that's it. Oh, well.
Yeah, for marathon safety,
Oh
we will not.
my.
What the heck?
He was so far right.
He didn't want to participate in the speedrun, so I just went ahead and let him not do that.
He was so
Yeah,
far. I've never seen that.
So the badge we just picked up is called Power Quake. It is an extremely powerful badge. It is a hammer attack that deals a lot of damage to every grounded enemy, and ceiling enemies, I suppose. And we're really not supposed to have that badge at this point. And we're going to use it immediately to make quick work of these Dark Koopas. The drawback of Power Quake is that it costs 4 FP. So we picked up a couple of items along the way so that we can deal with that problem.
Yeah, so remember how we mentioned time travel just a moment ago? We're doing some more of that now by fighting these Dark Koopas. We want to get to Chapter 3 as soon as possible, because there is an extremely powerful badge in that chapter, and it's kind of just... we can access it immediately, so it's just best to go there first after beating Chapter 1. And you probably notice we're also taking intentional first strikes from these Dark Koopas. That's to set up for later.
Yeah, the damage we take now is very important.
This is also a highly unusual fight to end up doing. I got a Pow Block drop from the first Dark Koopa, but no FP, so we are using Cooper, who... I think after this, he doesn't do anything for the rest of the run, basically.
Yeah,
it's
he comes
unusual
out
for this
for
to
a
even
couple of
happen.
tricks.
That fight is the fastest thing you can do. It saves some time in Chapter 3 if you can do that way.
Yeah, you also may notice we're picking up the coins that drop from these guys. We actually are never buying anything for the rest of the run, so you may wonder why we're picking up the coins, and it's because this room is so laggy. If we pick up the coins, it's actually faster than not picking up the coins and dealing with the lag. Switched back to Bombette there for a trick coming up.
I guess we should explain record skip and Bombette pushing now.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, when Bombette descends after using her bomb ability, she explodes, flies into the air, and then she falls back down to the ground. When she's falling, there is... Oh, no, that hard drop.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's awkward.
There's only one, so... If we got multiple hard drops, that actually would have cost a significant amount of time, but...
Oh, you're right, Spiker. Okay, yeah.
We only
We're
have
fine.
one.
So there's one frame, I believe it's one frame when Bombette hits the floor that we can actually push NPCs. I don't think it's possibly, I don't think it's really known why this happens. Maybe Rain Shoes knows. But you can see the Boo is moving a little bit to the left where we spin. This is gonna make this trick a lot easier.
Ooh, wow, nice.
There we go, second try, very nice. So for that trick, you have to like hold up left and jump and land like in the corner of that chest in front of it and press A frame perfectly. And your angle has to be good too. Moving that guy actually makes the angle more lenient.
It's frame.
Yeah, that trick's very difficult.
It is frame perfect no matter what, but it is also angle perfect if you don't push him. And even if you do push him, it's still very precise.
So second try, we love to see that.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of the... That's a very common pain point for anybody running a full game category in Paper Mario, is that saves like a minute, and it's also terrible to do.
Yeah, we may be wondering what exactly that did. That allowed us to skip a mini game, which takes a long time.
Skips two of them.
Where
it's really nice.
Oh yeah, I guess the record playing is also kind of a mini game. Yeah.
Yeah, it skips both those mini games, and it saves a lot of RNG you don't have to deal with. It's as difficult as it is. It's a really good trick for just removing things like that.
Speaking of RNG, these guys throw this around a random amount of times.
At varying speeds, no less.
So you can play perfectly here and still lose time.
I think this minigame alone can lose you up to 4 seconds. At worst. It's very annoying, to be sure.
Yeah, so we've just collected the super boots. This is going to allow Mario to do a spin jump and break floorboards. It's also going to increase our jumping power by 1 for each jump in battle, which is going to translate to a lot of damage, as we'll see later. And also, this is Chapter 3. I don't know if we really stressed this. We are currently in Chapter 3. We went to Chapter 5, now we're back in Chapter 3, and because we entered the mansion for the first time, the game thinks we're in Chapter 3 now. So we're going to be progressing through Chapter 3 normally.
So Chapter 3 is actually the second chapter that we do in an all-cards run, and there are a couple reasons for that. The first you already saw is that we picked up the super boots. I guess maybe 3 reasons. Maybe 3. The partner that we get from this chapter, Lady Bo, has incredible utility and is used very frequently, especially in the end game of this run. And having her early is a boon for a lot of reasons. But to keep it simple for now, it's mostly just so we can get the super boots, and also so that we can get Mega Rush, which is the absolute holy grail of Paper Mario badges in how powerful it is and how much time it saves, actually.
Yeah, we'll explain Mega Rush when we get to it pretty soon here. But this is Bo, and it's worth noting that world record routes for this category actually don't get Bo. They skip her entirely, and you may be wondering why we are getting Bo, and that's because the world record route rarely finishes the run. And for this marathon, we would like to finish the run.
Yes.
It's like somewhere in the 10s that you finish, 10%. Like,
it's really bad.
It's really bad.
It's between 10 and 20. The only category that's worse at an optimal level is any percent.
On a positive note, we do have plenty of donations, so if there's a good time for those coming up, just let me know.
There is a trick that is coming up in a few moments that we're going to need to explain, but after that, I think you're good.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
we need to talk about Stanley a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta save this boo.
Yeah, we're gonna save a man's life today in this speedrun.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We're gonna do our best.
So Paracarry's ability to pick up Mario and hover off the ground is pretty good. It gets you over some gaps, but more importantly for glitches, it lets you just kind of go out of bounds sometimes depending on the collision you use it in front of. So we're going to use that to hover on top of one of these houses and then go around the floor out of bounds to skip the cutscene trigger that's supposed to activate here and just save Stanley.
Yeah, so this trick is called Stanley Save.
It's a really good name.
And the reason it is called Stanley Save is because in this cutscene, Stanley gets eaten by Tubba Blubba. And we have successfully saved Stanley, so no Stanley getting eaten this run.
Bless.
It's very good. But yeah, we make use of Paper Mario's weird gravity to fall behind the room and land on the other side, and because that cutscene only starts when you pass a certain point in the room, we can kind of cut that corner between the backside and the loading zone and get into the loading zone just as the cutscene's starting. You may have even heard the like exclamation point sound of the cutscene starting as we took that loading zone.
I think
So this is
I think now would be a great time for those donations, actually.
yeah.
Awesome. I want to take us back to that run up to that 12K milestone. We had $30 come in from Frost, who said, "Great marathon." We had $15 come in from Silver the Flame, who said, "Such a great cause and amazing community." Luigi! Heart. And the one that put us over, we had $225 come in from Dom, who says, "Cheers to a good cause and good luck on the run. Thank you to everyone for putting in the work for this. Runners, hosts, commentators, and everyone else in the background." Thank you so much for that. Again, 12K is such an enormous milestone. That was 4 times our initial goal. So thank you again, everyone. Do we have time for a few more, or would you like me to hold on to those for a bit longer?
Real quick, and then we can get back to them because there's going to be a little bit of downtime. You may have noticed that we got caught by one of the security guards here. It's actually faster than spinning back to the front to just get caught by that guy and enter the mansion again. And you can go back to donations.
Of course. We also had $20 come in from Rickby, who said, "You should warn me next time you use a fright jar so I can look away."
It scares the speedrunners too, don't worry.
I'm sorry, I didn't know we had any paratroopers in the audience.
Well, I don't know if we have Paratrooper. We do have a Toad that we had $20 come in from Tiff, who says, "Salutations, this is Toad number 414. We would like to thank the residents of the Only Marathon for contributing to the triumphant return of our dark god Luigi. He comes, and so does a new epoch of reckoning to Toad Town. Also, yo."
She skipped.
She skipped.
Wait,
Well, that's a really good comment.
We'll talk about Yoshi Skip in Chapter 5. There's a story behind that one.
Yeah, so you may have seen there that Mario just kind of like flew up to the bed there. For whatever reason, if you use Paracarry there, you just gain a bunch of height.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Paracarry's hover ability is really weird. That's the main reason Stanley Save even works. Like,
Yeah.
it happens later on there too. There's another trick we do. Like, Paracarry is just broken. I don't understand why that even happens.
Yeah. Also, that badge we just picked up there is Mega Rush. Many people may have missed that badge on their initial playthroughs of this. I certainly did.
I definitely did.
But it is definitely our most powerful tool going forward. And we will see it before long.
This is...
Ooh, why did he
That's
not
awkward.
wake up? He's just chilling.
That is not how that room was supposed to go whatsoever. It was fine, but like if you align yourself correctly with the middle of the room, you wake up every single clubba and they chase you in a group, so you can quickly just move where they aren't and get out of there. But that is that's a lot more difficult to do when one of the guys decides not to wake up, and I had no idea like which one it was, so I was like, where do I go?
Yeah, especially when that one is sleeping at the bottom of the room where we like to leave.
And we do
Kind of go up and around.
We do only have 1 HP at this point, so if I had played that carelessly and gotten hit, we actually would have had a game over. That really doesn't happen if you're playing careful, but it's a common pitfall for newer players that it's actually extremely easy to die in Chapter 3 of an all-cards run.
Yeah, so we have one of the best tracks in the game playing right now.
Oh, we have to escape the castle now. I guess we should talk about Quick Escape.
Quick Escape, yeah. Remember how we talked about paracarry being weird?
Here's another one.
Here's another instance of paracarry gaining us a bunch of height for no apparent reason.
Yeah, so
about to see here in a second.
Tubbo's gonna break the bridge, and the game's gonna force us to just run to the door, and we're just gonna go back and look at Tubbo run at us. But we're not scared.
Yeah, we're not scared.
He's only about 30 times our size. He could probably bench press like a whole bunch of Marios at once if he wanted to, but with the power of Mega Rush, we're not actually that scared of him.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about what Mega Rush actually does. So the reason we're at 1 HP is because Mega Rush increases our damage by a whopping 4, right?
Yeah.
4. Our power is increased by 4 while we're at 1 hit point. This is going to translate to a ton of damage when we combine it with Power Bounce, since every time you jump with Power Bounce, your subsequent jumps will have 1 less damage. So if your first jump deals 6, your second jump will deal 5, and the third one 4, and so on. So by using Mega Rush with Power Bounce, we can deal tons and tons of damage in a single turn, and we're going to use this strategy to defeat a lot of bosses in this game. But it also means that we're running around at 1 HP all the time, so any first strike from an enemy will kill us, so we have to be very, very careful with how we step.
Especially with the different chapter order that we're doing, that we're not supposed to be, like, maybe in chapters 1 and 2 you could afford running around in peril and block a first strike, but any later on, you're done.
Yeah, enemies deal far more damage than we can block at this point.
So here's
I guess
Tubbo's
we
heart.
should talk about, what's going on in Chapter 3. Tubba Blubba is invincible, and his secret to invincibility is that he's taken out his heart and hid it in this windmill. So we are going to go give him the shoes.
Yeah, remember when the shoes. Remember when I said Bowser just souped up some random like Mario enemies in the universe? Like this is the kind of thing we mean. Although it makes you wonder why he didn't just give him regular invincibility, like he did for himself. Just took out his whole heart instead.
I did not get capped at all. That's surprising. We might want to talk about that also, since Power Bounce plus Mega Rush as a combo is starting to become important in this run. So Power Bounce is a formula that determines how many bounces you're allowed to do, and it is random. So certain enemies have certain multipliers that are applied into a formula that determine how likely you are to be able to continue bouncing after a certain point. The absolute lowest number you can get under any circumstances is a 3 bounce, and it can go on up to 101, although this is very, very unlikely. Our routes are constructed in a way that normal numbers of bounces will always, or almost always, take out the enemies as fast as possible. It just works out kind of conveniently like that. So, like, Tubba's heart there actually has the highest multiplier on any boss, which means his heart is most likely to give us high bounces. But,
Yeah, also, Tubba Blubba only has 10 health, so...
yeah, we don't even have to power bounce and he just kind of dies. The jump times 2.
Yeah, if you run into him before this point, you can't damage him at all, and your only option is to either run away or use Bo's ability to put you invisible, so he loses track of you. But when he's reunited with his heart, he gains his mortality back and has a whopping 10 health.
Yeah.
It's very underwhelming.
He did not...
He does still hit like a truck, though.
Yeah,
This
he's
is true.
pretty strong. He's pretty strong, but he is 10 HP and no defense. So...
Yeah, so now our second card we're picking up, we're going to be doing card LZS. So like we saw earlier with Junior Skip, we are going to do loading zone storage jumps to collect the card at the same time as we take the loading zone. What this does is it increments the story progress to make the game think that we have actually collected the card, and it satisfies the requirement for the all cards category, but we don't have to watch the Peach cutscene. This is obviously fast because we don't have to watch the Peach cutscene, but it also has the added benefit of not healing us at the end of a Peach cutscene, and that is helpful because it'll enable us to keep Peril and go and fight other things, so we don't have to get our health back down to 1 for Mega Rush. It doesn't work for this case since we leveled up, but we will probably see that later on.
We'll see it once on the Chapter 2 card. An unfortunate side effect is that it doesn't update your Star Spirit powers because that cutscene never plays.
Yeah, that is the trade-off. So this is Raphael Skip, also called Yoshi Skip if we were to go to the tree back there, but we are falling out of bounds and going around that loading zone so we don't take it. You also may have noticed that we've seen this cutscene before earlier in the run, and we're back. Since we completed Chapter 3, the game thought that we were in Chapter 3, we went back to Chapter 5, and now the game's like, hey, wait, you're in Chapter 5 now. So now the game thinks we're in Chapter 5, and we're going to progress through Chapter 5 now.
Yeah, a big part of the reason we're doing Chapter 5 next is because it gives us more star power, which is relevant for later parts of the run. Because the card LZS doesn't actually give you the star power. We still have 1 bar that we got from Chapter 1. So we have to do this particular order to make sure we stay with the amount of star power we get from this fight.
Yeah, we're also going to get the Ultra Hammer in this chapter, which will help us open up the passageway later on.
Yeah, it's just
I'm
too
gonna pick
convenient.
up Fire Shield here.
Too convenient to do
Fire
Chapter
Shield
5 early.
later.
Alright, here's Lava Puzzle Skip. It's pretty straightforward. You just kind of para-carry over and clip off the edge.
That is
Good execution.
That is way harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's very difficult, though. Especially to do it that fast. That was really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the Ultra Hammer.
I kind of hit my first stride somewhere in Chapter 3. I was definitely letting the nerves control me a little bit in Chapter 1 with that high jump feel and whatnot, but it's getting a lot smoother now. One reason that wasn't touched on that we do Chapter 5 at this point is because when we do chapters, and we're going to do Chapters 2 and 4 this way, when we enter a chapter in a story state where that chapter is supposed to be completed already, the puzzles in that chapter are going to be pre-solved for us when we show up. And there was actually one instance of that with the Ultra Hammer right there. You would have noticed if you're paying very close attention that the lava puzzle that I skipped was solved already after I exited the room with the Ultra Hammer. And the reason for that is because of the story-based progression, where there is a byte in memory, or is it 2? I don't remember.
It's 2 bytes.
Yeah, that tells the game where you are in the story. And by getting the Ultra Hammer, we updated that. We updated the story trigger, so that it thought that puzzle was already completed.
Yeah. Conveniently there, we have to wait for this this panel to come back so we can get across. And there's Fire Bar there that we can take damage to get back to Peril. This is Flare Carry. Hopefully we get it.
I thought I had it, actually.
I thought that was it.
Dang.
Again, Paracarry is weird, and you can hit that loading zone for some reason.
I think
if you use Paracarry in the corner.
I think it has to do with like Mario's animation while getting lifted up by Paracarry. Like he sticks his feet out, and I guess that's enough to just push him in. I don't know.
So we saved there because there is a 0.04% chance that this boss kills us. It is incredibly unlikely. I've never seen it happen to anybody, but if you get 3 capped on Power Bounce twice in Phase 1, you die. And you just can't do anything about it, so... We went ahead and took that marathon save, just in case the unthinkable happens. It did not happen.
It did not happen.
That is in itself unlucky that I only got 4. It's kind of slow, but it's not a 3, so therefore we're alive.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh wait, we have a live stream.
Yeah, good thing we picked up that live stream earlier in the volcano. We allow ourselves to die here and get hit back into peril because his second and third attacks do 4 and 5 damage, which is just enough to get us back into peril. Unfortunately, this fight is also responsible for the fact that we don't have a live stream for much of the run normally.
Yeah, so as you saw there, live streams. Oh wow.
That's so unlucky, double 4. That's about as bad as it can go without something really unusual happening.
Yeah. What was saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Never mind.
I don't know, but it's time for phase 2. He's
on fire now.
And easier than ever.
Yeah. He's even wimpier somehow.
Yeah, the mechanics actually change for this fight between the 2 phases. And you're gonna notice that I'm not protecting myself. Wow, another cap, jeez. And the reason for that is because if you disable the head with Sushi's Squirt Attack, which is water-based on the fire enemy, it takes him out of commission, and the lava buds don't attack you. They just spawn little dudes who will maybe attack you later if he survives, which he doesn't. Very, that RNG was pretty mediocre, but this fight is very well routed to the point where it actually takes quite a lot to kill you, so we are absolutely fine.
I think of the bosses that like someone would consider difficult on a casual playthrough their first time, I think Lava Piranha is by far the easiest when it comes to like in a speedrun setting.
Yeah.
He's very abusable.
He's one of those bosses where like maybe he's hard if you don't like understand Ape like fundamentally, or like how the battle system works and like enemy weaknesses and whatnot. But if you do, he's absolutely a pushover, almost as much as the Koopa Bros are.
Just wanted to let you know I've got more donations lined up whenever you're ready for them.
Absolutely, we've got another Peach scene here, so
this is a good time for
you
it.
have probably like 4 or 5 minutes of no interruption.
That sounds perfect then. I do acknowledge we had a bit of a back and forth on the donation total a while back. This was all started by Uncle Gramps donating $14.69, and they said, nice. Then Eggman actually donated $1.46, saying, a nice number? No, we can't have this. Time for your friendly neighborhood Eggman to ruin the total once again. I'm gonna run out of air. So thank you for that, Eggman. We then had a $1.06 donation from Anonymous, and then $50 from Exeat brought us to, I think, 122. It was all 1s and 2s, which was really neat. And they say first time watching, first time donating. That's the thing I say, right? That is absolutely a great thing to say. And then we actually also had $15 from Charbunny, who said, oh shoot, sorry chat, I just remembered I promised $5 per bunny in Deltarune, and there were 3 of them. Here's my promised donation. So, sorry that was a bit later than expected. With that, our new donation total is $12,137.21. What's really cool about this is also, just by the way, casually triple what fast-paced events raised in their last event. So every single dollar, every single donation that you put in now, you are making a new world record for fast-paced events happen. So for that brief moment in time between your donation and the next one, you are the record holder for the donation total. So congratulations, feel free to steal that back and forth a few times. I also am really curious about how we're gonna end this marathon, because we have been going back and forth on the cents in this donation total. This is the most I've ever seen individual cents move around in a marathon, and I am very much on the edge of my seat to see if we end on a nice even round number and support order, or if we end on just some random arbitrary number of pennies and support chaos. So if you're an agent of order or an agent of chaos, keep an eye on those pennies and let's see what we end up with.
Just remember, in order to bring back order, you have to be chaos. You may have noticed at the end of Chapter 5 there, after collecting the card, we had a little bit of gameplay, escaping the volcano. That's going to be important later, so keep that in mind. As compared to Chapter 1, where we just touched the card and went straight to the Peach cutscene, there's something a little special about Chapter 5, and we will touch on that later.
We will. It's going to be important in about 3 chapters from now.
Yeah.
But
first we have this quiz show.
Yes, very exciting stuff here. I'm not just mashing the A button and not even looking at the screen. There's that's wild that you would even like think about accusing me of that. I can't believe you would do that, chat. Oh, whoops. Speaking of mashing the A button, the thing I just said was right because I actually did forget to mash the A button there for a moment.
Yeah, so actually this isn't just smashing the A button. Remember, text is scrolled at the fastest speed by holding B. So what you actually want to do is hold B up until the point where you can press A to answer the question, and then press A. So it's actually a bit more effort than it looks.
Yeah, absolutely riveting gameplay here. That is a 10-question quiz. It is fastest to tie the quiz by ending with 0 points, and thankfully when you get a question right, or wrong, it takes away one of your points. So we just go ahead and mash A until the last question where we answer 2 instead of 1 to lose our final point deliberately so that nobody gets to have fun.
Except for Peach.
Yeah.
She had a lot of fun.
Peach had a lot of fun
She loves quiz
sabotaging
shows.
the quiz show. Yeah. Anyway, that item is it's useful for the next Peach intermission, which actually is quite a ways from now. If you remember the loading zone storage trick we did on the Chapter 3 card, we're going to use that on 4 and 2, which are the next chapters we're going to, in that order. So we're actually not going to watch any more Peach intermissions for quite some time. So if you...
Yeah, this is a big gameplay segment. It's a lot of fun. Gonna be really fast-paced from here on.
Yeah, this is probably the longest, like, uninterrupted segment of just gameplay that there is in the entire run, I would say.
Also, we got Smooch there from Miss Star, and getting Smooch actually gives you all of the previous Star Spirit abilities too. So now we have all of the Star Spirit abilities up to Smooch, and we probably won't be using them for a while.
Not until like Chapter 6.
Not until Chapter 6. So we had to go back there and collect the volcano vase to give to Colorado so that we can get another seed. These, as I mentioned earlier, are needed to enter Chapter 6. There is no other way to complete Chapter 6 other than giving these magical seeds. And now that we're done with Chapter 5, we'll surely be going to Chapter 6, right?
Yeah. That's definitely where I'm going right now. There's no other place I would go. I'm not Paper Mario speaking, by the way. Why would M4 go to Chapter 4 when there's a perfectly fine Chapter 6 waiting for them in the heart of Toad Town?
You know Chapter 6 the other way, right?
Wait, what? I thought this was Chapter 6.
Their heart just really wants to go to the toy box. Like, what can you blame them? It's so much fun in there.
Yeah.
There's a train.
Yeah.
How can you deny the train?
Yeah, it's nice. It has there's a train. There's nice soundtrack. There's very little backtracking because oh wait, all the puzzles are solved already. How did I don't think I've ever missed that
Time for
switch before
everything.
trying to jump on it.
So
That's
again,
funny.
since we completed Chapter 5, the game
Yeah.
assumes that if we've completed Chapter 5, we have to have completed Chapter 4. So everything in Chapter 4 is already solved.
There is
and-
one thing we're doing right now, though. There is something else that in this game that are known as flags, and mostly everything is solved in Chapter 4. But flags are universally set on or off. So this track to the left of Blue Station is broken, but we can fix it. And then once we revert the game back into a Chapter 4 state to activate the card, this flag will just stay on as fixed forever. So we're riding around the stations in a certain way so we can get back to Red Station later on.
Yeah, thankfully that track is not tied to our story progress. So we are gonna go to Pink Station here, and we're gonna go pick up this frying pan. Picking up the frying pan will set our story progress to chapter 4. And the game will think we are in chapter 4, and this is necessary to spawn the boss of chapter 4. Because if we were to go over to the boss, since the game thinks that we're in chapter 5, the boss would not be there. So this is completely necessary. Also, remember Paracarry? Yeah.
It's crazy, that's not even one of the weird ones to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Paracarry just does things.
And he's not even he doesn't even do the most things.
Oh that title belongs to Lackluster, but we won't see him for a while.
So this is, that frying pan that I just got from that chest is one of the flags we talked about. It is also a flag that sets story progress, so since I grabbed that, the game now believes that we are in the middle of chapter 4, whereas before it thought
you can actually see
were
the rails on the right are broken now, and they didn't used to be. That's because our story progress has gone back in time. Now, since we opened that track in Blue Station, we can go straight to Red Station, because chapter 4 is one big circle. We're going to take the heart block here, just for safety, and because we need all of our resources to beat this next boss, who is a little different from other bosses in terms of mechanics.
Very unique, for sure.
Yeah, these are also on a cycle, these panels. Ah, we missed it. Sometimes you can get on that.
That was... I can't tell if that was possible or not. I think it might not have been. It's RNG whether you can make that or not, unfortunately. And usually you can. Like, probably 80-90% of the time it is possible, but...
Yeah, so this is Lantern Ghost, and we can't attack Lantern Ghost. Instead, we have to attack the lantern to make the room bright enough so that we can actually see and attack Lantern Ghost. Also, Lantern Ghost deals 5 damage on a jump, and if we block one, we can conveniently get into peril here and activate Mega Rush. Normally we would use Goombario to hit the lantern because it's a bit faster than using bow, but for marathon safety, there is a backup fight in case we get 4 capped twice. No, it wasn't even capped at 5.
Looks like that's not gonna happen. We could have done the Goombario fight, which is faster by a fair amount, but safety is absolutely paramount, because if you get double 4 capped, which is only like a 2% chance-ish, there is no
we say 2%, but it certainly feels like more.
Oh!
Yeah.
There was one of them. I got a 4 cap on the second bounce.
So we're picking up our next partner here. This is Watt. Watt's on-field ability is to brighten up rooms, which we will never use. But in battle, Watt is very powerful because Watt ignores enemy defense and will always deal the full damage of her attack.
It's not the most powerful attack, but the fact that it pierces defense makes her very, very useful for some late game fights.
Yeah,
especially this boss fight actually uses her. Any boss with defense, you're likely to be using Watt instead of Paracarry. It's also very helpful that Paracarry's attack takes 3 FP, whereas Watt's does not take any. Also, we got the other platform cycle, which is nicknamed God Cycle, because it is a lot more difficult and a lot rarer than it is possible to get that one.
Maybe makes up for the other one.
Not quite. It saves about half as much time, but, you know, we'll take what we can get.
Flashbacks to Green Toad.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I had managed to forget about that. I'm so...
The game is trying its
so
best to make up in very tiny ways. Here's 2 seconds here, 3 seconds there, you know.
And then... This boss fight has an RNG variance of about 6 seconds, by the way. Because he gets to attack twice, and one of those attacks is fast, and the other one is lightning, so... We'll see what our RNG on that is. For the most part, this is very very consistent fight. It's just how much time do you lose to RNG in Chapter 4? Because there's like 15 seconds you can save or lose based on things that are completely out of your
Before we can
control.
fight him, though, he's gonna send out his entire army at us. Very fitting for a general, I suppose.
Yeah, this is a bit of a boss rush, and we're going to be using a couple tools to help us here.
Mainly Mega Rush being so incredibly overpowered.
Yeah. Here come the stilt guys.
And with the power of a charged Power Quake, you can just knock these guys out in one go.
Yeah, Mega Rush at work once again.
So convenient too, because the alternative there is the Starstorm.
Yeah, and remember, we're not supposed to have that badge. This is Chapter 4, and that badge is from Chapter 5. You can kind of tell why we're not supposed to have that badge.
There is actually a weaker version of it you can have at this point, called Quake Hammer. But it actually, even fully charged with Mega Rush active, still doesn't do enough damage to take these enemies out.
Yeah, so here we use Watt's other ability, Power Shock, to paralyze that other Shy stack there. First use of a Repel Gel in the run here. Repel Gel is a super powerful item. It will make Mario invulnerable for 2 turns. Yeah, unfortunately we got lightning.
Oh, slow move. That's the bad one. Every time he does lightning, it loses 3 seconds.
These are sound effects badges.
we are playing to finish.
We got one bomb.
Not playing to be fast. There's a good attack. So it's funny. You see that we're doing 4 damage per hit to General Guy. Without Mega Rush, we would be doing no damage. That badge is just so useful for every stage of the game. That's primary. I would say that's the primary reason we go to Chapter 3 as early as possible.
Yeah, General Guy's whole thing is a lot of defense.
Alright, I'm not gonna have to bake a cake. We will find out shortly. This card LZS is the most dangerous one. It's definitely a run killer, because if you fail this, you have to do the longest Peach intermission. It loses about 7 minutes to take this card.
And that's assuming you are a master
without
chef.
the loading zone. True.
Nice.
There we go. Another thing we should note about card LZS is it's not quite as simple as just, you know, having Mario jump into the card. Mario actually has to touch the card while he's descending from the jump, or else the Peach cutscene will still start. So it's quite a bit harder than it looks. I mean, LZS in general is quite a bit harder than it looks, but specifically card LZS, there is a bit more nuance to it. Yeah.
LZSs have been pretty okay so far. I think BHS and Junior Skip were
definitely love to
second,
see
the other
it.
ones were first.
So now that we're done with Chapter 4, we're going to Chapter... Oh wait, we already did Chapter 5.
You know, I really wonder what's... I wonder what's in this random building over here. Hey, dude. Huh, he didn't have anything to
We have
say.
no clue
And
he
even
said.
if he did, I couldn't have read it. Let's leave the room.
Let's go bother him again.
Yeah, let's leave the room, come back, and talk to him again. I'm really fixated on this guy.
wait,
Is
I
this
got
the same
Google
guy
Translate
that kept
out. Let me see
keeping
if I
us from
can-
running into the cliff like an hour ago?
No,
it's not.
No, this guy has gray hair. The Green Devil is still exactly where he was before. He'll be getting in our way again later, probably.
Yeah. We're gonna pass by him later, and sometimes he does get in the way.
Yeah.
Even still, yeah. Always the menace.
Yeah, so here we're entering Forever Forest. Remember I mentioned about the magical seeds we need to enter Chapter 6. There's one of these in Forever Forest, and we're gonna go grab that right now. This is this is the closest we're getting to this area throughout the whole rest of the run, so we've got to do it now.
It's mainly so that Oakley isn't blocking the way after Chapter 2.
That too.
Yeah, that's another instance of the story sequence trigger in the game actually, like, affecting the gameplay in some way. There is a dude who actually blocks your way into the forest, unless you are in a post-Chapter 3 state, which we are now, so that's why we didn't grab it earlier.
Yeah. You also might be wondering why we didn't grab it after we beat Chapter 3, and that's because if we entered Forever Forest from the Booze Mansion side, we would have to fight Junior Troopa, and we are absolutely not doing that.
Yeah, that Junior Troopa fight is extremely tanky.
Yeah, it's very
It is
long.
terrifying.
So this is Electro Blooper. Yeah, we need to get back to Peril, and Electro Blooper is going to help us.
Yeah, he's gonna be our buddy for the next minute or so, and then we're going to betray him and take his life.
This fight's really interesting with the Peril Minute, because Electro Looper charges himself with electricity, and so we're gonna take some intentional damage from that, and because he does 4 base damage with his normal attacks, we just get right back into Peril. It just works out so beautifully with how easy it is.
And there's Power Bounce at its finest. And making use of Electro Bloopers every other turn, I use electricity to not have to protect ourselves. Very convenient. And we can use Parakarry's Shell Shot, a move we're probably going to see a lot more because it's very fast and very powerful. We can use that attack to remove the electricity before we bounce. And you may be wondering why we are in the sewers, and that's because we are going to Chapter 2.
Yep.
Surprise!
We're entering Chapter 2 through the back door, and geez, this red house is so interesting. I wonder what this guy might have to say.
Whoa, where'd we get that?
Item. He wants that item that I got from the dude in the club, so we're gonna give it to him. He's gonna give us something else. No idea what this is all about. I just felt really compelled to do it for some reason. Nope. Doing right now either. This is weird. It's like I'm under
Where are we
control
going?
by some foreign entity. Oh, there's a life shroom.
Good
So-
backup
So that
item.
was the purpose.
Oh, there's another purpose. I think. Otherwise, I don't know why I'd be doing this right now.
Oh, there sure is. There sure is. So those of you who are familiar with this game may know that there's absolutely nothing in the bottom half of the desert aside from that oasis we just passed. So why are we here, huh? Why are we here? And we are about to find out very soon why we're here. The best sound effects bad. Hopefully we'll hear it a lot.
Oh, we'll hear it a lot. That one is my personal favorite. It's very goofy.
It's very funny.
So now we're actually gonna go to Chapter 2.
Yeah.
That was just
Currently we are in Chapter 2, and the game thinks we are in a post-Chapter 4 state, having just beaten General Guy. So what is this going to mean? It means that the ruins are already going to be there, which we normally would have had to spawn if we were already in Chapter 2. It also means that all the puzzles in the ruins are going to be completed. As we mentioned earlier, the puzzles are all tied to our story progress, so we're actually just going to grab the keys and run. Normally you'd have to grab the key, go up to the top floor, and make the sand fall down so we can cross there. But we are not going to do any of that, since the puzzle's already completed.
very, very nice. We do, however, have to summon the boss, which means we do still need some of the items from inside the ruins. Those keystones, notably.
Yeah, so we're going to collect all of those.
We have to beat up these enemies here, but oops, I have Mega Rush before I'm supposed to, and they're dead instantly.
Yeah, we're a bit stronger than we're supposed to be. Oh
Ooh,
wow, that heart drop
drop
was close.
I did not like that.
Yeah, getting that heart drop or loses a good bit of time.
It is very, very, very bad if you pick one of those up in Chapter 2.
It's really scary to back it up, because you have to get hit by a Buzzy Beetle, and block the attack, and normally in a PB setting, if you miss that block, congrats, your run's over. Sorry.
You are dead, because you're not supposed to have a life shroom. I do, because I routed it in for the sake of safety in a marathon. We do normally get a life shroom later. If I don't die, for any reason, that's the life shroom that we're going to use against Bowser, but, you know, assuming we get unlucky, like everything else, but, hopefully...
Oh my gosh.
Unlucky in a marathon? That's never happened.
Yeah, that's wild. I can't imagine getting good luck in this game of all places.
You may be wondering, how are we going to make the game think we're in Chapter 2 again? So we're actually just gonna go grab the Super Hammer. Note that we already have the Ultra Hammer, so this is a downgrade. But collecting the Super Hammer does make the game think that we are in Chapter 2, and we'll see when we enter the room on the right later that the puzzle is now unsolved, and we will need to put in the stones in order to spawn Tut and Koopa. We're gonna get this upgrade block for later.
Also, Bombette's off screen. I think upgrading her this way is really funny.
Where did she go?
She's just chilling up there. She's waiting.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
If you just jump down, if you just like tap jump to the left, she stays up there for the upgrade, which is usually very funny.
Yeah, note that we don't need to time that attack because Mega Rush is so powerful.
Okay,
No hearts, very nice.
Oh, those other two fights were scary.
Yeah.
Getting a hard drop is just a massive amount of time loss here.
It's kind of a little insulting. The game actually is more likely to drop hearts if you are low. So we are playing with fire.
Speaking of playing with fire, Toot and Koopa does not know what he's up against.
Yeah, this is...
this boss fight is hilarious. It is so funny.
I've mentioned that, like, Koopa Bros and Lava Piranha were absolute jokes. But, this guy here, we're not supposed to have Mega Rush at this point in the game, normally. So, he's gonna kind of melt, whether or not he gives good or bad RNG.
Yeah, he stands no chance. The worst thing that can happen is a 2% chance of getting 3-capped on this power bounce. And that just requires you to do one attack with Parakarry if it does happen. And it didn't happen.
Is it really 2? I thought it was higher for some reason.
Yeah. So we do a bounce, he summons his Chomp, and we don't have enough FP for another bounce. But he only has 30 HP, so he's already dead.
Yeah, this is a perfect kill.
Doesn't matter, Mario is jacked.
Yeah.
So coming up right after this, we have another card LZS, and this one is maybe deceptively very, very hard, and that is because there is a ceiling over the loading zone, a very low ceiling, and normally with loading zone storage, it's kind of a rhythm thing with full jumps, you know, pressing A and moving the stick at the same time, but because there's a short ceiling there, you kind of have to either jump from a very specific point in order to get full jumps, or you have to do like a short hop, and it is very difficult to regain your LZS, so very, very nice first try.
Did not need to save.
Yeah, we took the safety save anyways.
Taking the safety save, because if you take that cutscene, you lose all of your current star power, and we absolutely need star power, or Star Storm, for Chapter 6.
So if you fail that card LTS by taking the Peach intermission, your run is over, basically.
Yeah.
So that's why I saved. One of the very few places in this run where it's like absolutely necessary, no matter how good you are, to hit that. Because if you don't, there is nothing you can do to back that up.
Like, the Peach cutscene itself isn't very long, but those fights without Starstorm, there's so many airborne enemies.
Like, and you run around in peril.
Yeah, you really don't have any way to deal with those enemies.
It's rough.
If there are any donations, now would be a good time.
Absolutely. We had $1.48 come in from Stellar, who says, "Hey, it's Alice, the restreamer. Just donating to make the total nice. But I have a question for chat. Should I keep making silly polls?" Okay, I'm not chat, but the answer is definitely yes. I'm sorry that you can't see these runners, but these polls are absolutely fantastic. We'll have to go back and see if you can catch them later. We also did have a $10 anonymous donation come in, so thank you so much for that as well. That brings our grand total thus far to $12,148.69. So we're well on our way. And I have seen people talk about what numbers would be cool to hit. I've seen people suggest trying to get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think is how many digits we have somewhere in there. So if you're an agent of order, maybe trying to get us to that number would be cool. And if you're an agent for chaos, you know you're aiming for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So either way, let's keep those donations coming in.
Yeah, so right there we went into Merlin's house and we made ourselves look a little foolish. We spin jumped 3 times in front of him, and then quick change fell from his attic. We will need this badge for later.
Yeah, it is a very, very useful tool for dealing with not even necessarily boss fights, although it is useful in some boss fights. But just having it as an option is a very strong backup tool because of Bo's out-of-sight ability. Having quick change equipped means we can access her at any time without losing a turn to partner swaps.
Yeah, having access to all partner abilities on any partner turn is a really powerful tool.
Yeah, normally in a world record attempts we don't get that badge, but it goes a long way towards making a round safe.
Yeah. So this is chapter 6. We have done chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up to this point, so the rest of this is in order. Chapter 6, again, as we mentioned, we need we need those 5 magical seeds to get into chapter 6, and that's because chapter 6 is a little weird, and there's actually just no way to enter this chapter and complete it any other way. So we're basically just going to be playing through chapter 6 normally. There isn't much to do. So the first thing on the menu here are these moles. Luckily, we are now adequately prepared with upgrading Bombat earlier and having Power Quake.
And Mega Rush.
And Mega Rush.
These guys have 12 HP. They're actually incredibly beefy, but Mario is a little beefier.
Just a little bit.
And what comes with being extremely beefy is giving boatloads of experience. These guys give so much experience.
But now we're not in peril because we leveled up, so we're gonna get beat up for a turn. And they just so happen to do 3 damage each.
Very convenient.
And Power Quake twice ends up taking them out pretty easily. The first one did 4, the second one did 8. Thank you, Mega Rush.
Yeah, so people who play this game may be wondering why we haven't clicked Starstorm yet. Starstorm is a very powerful Star Spirit ability that deals 7 damage to each enemy. That sounds pretty nice, right? But it is so slow. We try so hard to do anything we can to avoid using this move, because it takes forever. We will be seeing it, though.
It's like 10 seconds slower than like all of our other viable options. It is actually that big of a difference.
Yeah, sometimes it's faster to you know, you can just burn a turn and watch the enemy attack. Starstorm is so bad.
Yeah, pretty much the only category you'll see extensively use Starstorm are both of our any % categories, because we just don't have enough tools to do anything else.
Yeah, thankfully in all cards, since we're visiting we're visiting every chapter, we get to pick up a lot of powerful tools. Again, another reason why this run is so fun and popular. You get to see every chapter, you get to pick up a lot of powerful badges, and because of that, you don't have to watch Starstorm a bunch of times.
I'm really hungry. I think I could go for some red berries. Right now. There's a reason we took ourselves out of peril that will be apparent in a few minutes.
So this room here is very lovingly called the Death Room. It's because this Bazap that is on the other side of this gate is very lethal, and we're often running through this room with 1 health, and that guy will first strike and kill you. Very
Yeah,
frequent.
he comes out swinging. It's really scary.
Yeah, Bazaps are very scary.
Fortunately, they also tunnel vision on where Mario was, not where Mario is going to be. So you can pretty easily sidestep them if you're patient and you get their attention. But you have to react pretty quickly to when they see you for that to work. Otherwise, you have to do some pretty complicated movement to ensure you don't get hit. But thankfully, my reaction time hasn't. My reaction time's gotten worse as I've aged, but it's not quite that. It's not quite bad enough to get stuck by that guy. Thankfully, because just sidestepping him is by far the fastest way to dodge him.
Yeah,
But
it's
it is
weird too
very
because
scary.
the stinger hitbox on him is not really that big sometimes. It feels like you kind of phase through it. Not really sure why.
Yeah, it's very wonky for sure. Dang it.
Hear a nice effect there.
Yeah, every time I fail a spy camera, we're at 3 different sound effects badges now.
Only getting more interesting from here.
Oh yeah.
If there are any donations, now is a good time.
Awesome, we just got a pretty special one. An Eternal Enigma donates $100 and says, I just want to say thank you very much for putting on this event. I've known kids since 2010 when I worked in pro wrestling, and they were a fan. We became friends immediately and they followed me over to Twitch. I'm so happy to see the impact they made on you all. You are all as wonderful as Kid was. Thank you so much, Eternal Enigma, for that heartfelt comment and for your generosity.
So here we have the maze fight. This is one of the other instances of RNG in this run. We don't really have the tools to kill both of these Lakitus in one turn. So we're gonna kill one and hope that this guy doesn't spawn another Spiny. And he doesn't.
And he didn't. That's way faster, because if he did spawn one, we would have to watch Starstorm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He dodged a Starstorm.
Don't worry, you guys will see it soon enough. I promise.
Goodness. I can't tell if that's a promise or a threat. Sounds to me like you're just telling me I'm gonna have to take some time loss.
I mean, don't worry. The route says you'll have to later.
Yeah. Well, there's only one thing that's inevitable in Paper Mario runs. It's using Starstorm.
There is no escape, even in the stronger categories.
Yeah. You guys will see the animation when we
It's
have
really
to use
cool.
it on the machine fight. It is cool. It's also incredibly slow. Like you can click Starstorm and then look away from near screen for like 15 seconds without losing any time. It's pretty bad. But sometimes it's also very powerful, and we don't happen to have any other options for a few specific fights, so Starstorm it is.
Gosh, that Bazap always scares me.
Yeah.
I guess we should explain why we're running around talking to these flowers. So basically, Flower Fields is in danger, there's a whole bunch of clouds everywhere, and the sun can't shine its sunlight on the flowers, so everyone's all like kind of sad, we're losing energy. So Petunia, the one we helped earlier with the moles, was kind of getting harassed by them, so we helped her out pretty quick. But Lily had her water stone stolen, and we're trying to get that back, but this Rosie character on the other side of this hedge maze is a bit of a pain, and kind of only cares for herself. So we had to go get another Crystal Berry to appease her with some materialistic stuff.
We have to give her something worthy of her beauty in order for her to get the water stone up, which she reluctantly agrees to do if you find something.
Thank goodness Posey was kind enough to give us that Crystal Berry.
Yeah, Posey, on the other hand, is somewhat of an altruist. Honestly, kind of one of the MVPs of this game. She gives you the item necessary to get the water stone back, and she also gives you the fertile soil, which you know, spoilers slightly for Chapter 6, you need to collect 3 items in order to grow a gigantic plant a la Jack and the Beanstalk in order to challenge the boss, who is a giant cloud. So we need to get up there into the sky.
There is no way around getting these items. If you want to fight Huff and Puff, you have to get all 3 of these key items.
Yeah, it's another reason why Chapter 6 is it's so hard to break. We just have to play it in order. Because if you do any of these things out of order, you're no longer able to get the other items, and then you can't challenge Huff and Puff.
Chapter 6 is actually the longest chapter in the speedrun for that reason exactly.
Yeah, it's very well put together.
Yeah. Alright, what are you guys thinking? Do we do early lackey or no?
For the fans.
For the fans? Alright, so there's a very, very difficult trick that saves about 12 seconds in this category called early lackey. It's actually integral to any percent, but since you play through Chapter 6 in pretty much every other category, you don't do it, because it is very, very, very difficult. It's another loading zone storage trick, so let me go ahead and...
really quickly just say that we hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by some miracle, and I need to say it now before someone messes it up, so congratulations, everyone.
Yo, let's
Excellent.
go.
Good job, chat. Good job. Oh, I can both skip brain just now. That was, not supposed to be there.
Yeah, in any percent, this trick saves, like, probably 15 minutes. It saves 12 seconds here.
Yeah. Notably, what this does in any percent is it allows us to get Lackluster, but that also means that we are unable to complete this chapter, so we have to find other ways to get around Nice.
First try.
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but...
Alright, now it's over.
Wow. Perfect execution there.
That one is not easy,
90%.
especially because of the giant tree looming in the back.
Yeah.
It causes a little bit of lag.
Yeah.
For anyone who may not have been here at any point while we were explaining loading zone storage, every single jump I did in that chain was double frame perfect to get to where we needed to be to skew our angle correctly for
Top
early
step.
lacking.
Nice.
We got the top step. This is
We sure
fun.
did.
Yeah, but as I was trying to say, in any percent, you can do that trick as soon as you enter Chapter 6 and get Lackluster, which we are about to do. And but then since we didn't do anything else in Chapter 6, the chapter is uncompletable, and we have to find other ways to get past it. But in this run, that trick just saves the time it takes to go get the bubble berry and feed it to the bubble plant, which is 12 seconds, I think you mentioned.
Yeah, roughly.
So yeah, it's also very difficult, so usually people don't go for it, but it's pretty cool, so we went for it.
Yeah, so this is Spike, question mark. He is a rebel of sorts, and he works for Huff and Puff, so you've gotta go, he says, like, you've gotta go down. Just orders, nothing personal, you know? Trying his best to be cool, but honestly, he's kind of a wimp. He only does 3 damage block. So, another really good Paro Manip. And that on top of Parakarry Shell Shot damage output, you can just kind of wipe him in a couple of turns.
Yeah, this is like an old-fashioned beatdown, just give him the shoes.
Oh, I can't believe I just got early lackey first try.
That was
Dude,
awesome.
I can't do that during my any percent PB attempts, but I did it for 12 seconds in a charity marathon.
So this is Lackatofu. Excuse me, this is Lackalulu, Lackluster's girlfriend, and she asks you if you can forgive Lackluster. And if you say no, she will hit you with a spiny.
It's really funny.
No, we're in peril right now. We do not want Lacto Tofu hitting us with a spiny. Mario doesn't say no out of genuine care for Lackluster. He says no out of fear.
Also, the question that Lackluster asks us after Lackalulu asks us that is, what do you fight for? And we answer the second answer, which is world peace. So, because it is the fastest.
I'd like
Kind
to
of cool, I guess.
I'd like to mention something else a little bit before we move on too far from Lucky. His cool name in Japanese, quote unquote, because he's a little bit of a lovable edgelord. He wants to have a cool name. So his cool name in Japanese is Jonathan, which happens to be the same name as my friend who passed, who I mentioned before starting the run. So every time I get Lackey, who happens to be the most useful partner in most of these speedruns, I also think of my friend.
Yeah, Lackluster has some bonus features that we're gonna see.
Bonus features?
Here's the best fight in the game, by the way.
No, it isn't.
No, we got the dink.
No, this is still the best fight.
This is the second best fight in the game. The first best fight is the version where that works on the magic cube.
Yeah, you get to use a Digidial on this fight turn 1, and it has a 100% success rate on the Lakitus. It's 75 on the Magic Koopa, but it's one of the only fights you get to use an item like this in, so I think it's really cool.
By the way, check this out. Yeah, watch how slow this is.
This is Starstorm right here.
You need to get a drink or use the bathroom.
This is the time.
Would you like me to read donations instead?
This would be a good time,
Starstorm?
yeah. I think
we
this would be a good time.
All right, awesome. I want to credit Argots, who donated the $96.98 that got us to that incredible donation total. I also am going to shout out the Sound Defense, who donated $120.06 to completely mess it up, saying, I cast Digit Shuffle on the donation total. Let chaos reign! And with that number, they actually made it so that the same 7 numbers were in the donation total, just in a different order, which was pretty impressive. And we're now have one more donation coming in from SPL Gem 2020/Gem SPL for $2, saying, I wish I could give more, but onward to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The good news is we got there. What's even cooler is we're actually incredibly close to 12.5K. We're almost at $500 over our target goal, so this is just fantastic. Thank you everyone for all of this incredible support.
Yeah, every bit helps, guys, every bit.
So
go ahead.
we need to return to the hub and talk to Wise Wisterwood here to plant the tree. Hang on, I can do this, but cooler. No, I missed it.
Oh no,
Too far out.
I took time loss trying to set it up, and I failed. You can overlap. You can overlap planting the beanstalk with eating the Whack-a-Pump, which saves like 3 seconds, maybe 4 if you set it up really quickly. But instead, I probably lost like 8.
Yeah, also,
but you know
for
what?
any,
That's okay.
any gardeners who need some advice, just put the watering can on top of on top of the thing you're trying to plant, and it works wonders.
Yeah.
As you can see, I mean, look at this.
Look at how fast this is.
If there's any more donations or anything, this is also a good time.
I do just want to remind everyone who may have come in during the run that we are raising money for the Trevor Project. They are the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. The Trevor Project aims to always be there for LGBTQ youth in crisis with a clear message. They should be proud of who they are and that they are not alone. So that is what all of these $12,467.73 is going toward. Thank you again, everyone. This is an absolutely fantastic cause. We're wrapping up what has been an incredible event. All of your support means the world to everyone here. Thank you again.
So here we are going into this room and then going right back. You may be wondering why we are doing this. It's because this cloud here has a cycle, and it's actually faster to just leave the room and come back to get a better cycle. This badge is called Super Jump Charge. This is another really busted badge that we're going to be using. We're going to see it immediately.
Get used to seeing this badge for the rest of the run on all the bosses, by the way. It is very strong.
It completes the holy trinity between itself, Mega Rush, and Power Bounce as the absolute most overpowered fast way you can take down any encounter in the game.
Yeah, this boss also has great music.
Yeah, so this is Huff. He's got a pretty annoying mechanic that we're just gonna completely ignore. Normally, he's able to, like, if you fight him normally and just hit him, he will split up into these mini clouds, and they'll try to hit you, and then he gets his own turn. But instead, we're just gonna let him beat us up for a little bit, and then we're really gonna give him the work.
Yeah, we're gonna take him down in a single turn, ideally. Oh, hey, look, we're at 1.
And...
15.
Alright, wow, not even capped. That's a surprise.
Oh, wow.
That's, you aim for 4 and 5 are the most common bounce numbers you get on this guy. He has a multiplier of 70, so he's a little more harsh than Tubba's Heart was earlier, or General Guy. You can get 3 capped on this fight, and this is the first part in the run where that can actually cause a serious problem. This fight is probably about a minute longer if you get a 3 bounce, and that's 2% to happen. Thankfully, it didn't happen, and we're fine. But that's always a threat when you're running this game, is that the game will decide at random to decide, no, you're not, and end your run.
Yeah, if you get a 3 cap here, it's really shaky. We have to watch a lot of Star Storms.
Yeah. And you just straight up die if you don't have the backup life shroom I picked up earlier as well. So we're back to our next Peach intermission. It was nearly an hour between them. Because there was
that's
so
the end
much...
of our long gameplay segment.
It started all the way back after we defeated Lava Piranha, and now it's over now that we've defeated Huff. You would think, since it's Chapter 5 and 6, that actually wouldn't be that long, but because we spend so much time traveling in all cards, that actually ends up being a very long segment.
Would you like a few more donations during this cutscene?
Absolutely, there is nothing happening for like 3 more minutes.
Awesome. We had the sound defense come in with $5.83, and there wasn't a comment, but they seem to be on a mission to make sure our donation total keeps this all 7 unique digits theme. And they actually seem to have recruited a helper in Mendezi who donated $2.97, saying digit shuffle. And with that, once again, all of our digits are unique, but in a completely different order. We now have $12,476.53 raised for charity. We are less than 25 away from 12.5K, by the way, chat, so that's going to be pretty awesome if we can make that happen. Come on here, I want to remind you that this marathon is being presented by the team at Fast Paced Events. Founded in January 2022, their mission is to promote mental health and LGBTQ+ awareness through speedrunning, and to raise money for mental health and LGBTQ+ charities by beating games at a fast pace. You can find more information about the team by checking out their Twitter account over at twitter.com/fastpacedevents. That's twitter.com/fastpacedevents. Now, for the runners, selfishly, I'm a huge fan of Princess Peach. Is she okay? She was waiting for us a long time between cutscenes there. Is she doing all right?
I think she was just bored. I think she's okay. She's still on her reconnaissance mission for Mario. The point of the cutscenes, actually, is that she is on a mission to gather information about where the next Star Spirit is being held. That's what all these cutscenes are about. And her little star buddy, named Twink, goes to tell Mario about this after each chapter. But due to our time travel, this only happens once, I think. I'm pretty sure it just happens after the end of Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Because we can't actually, like, do that out of order without losing, like, an hour. So, speaking of that, there is a category that does that out of order called Reverse All Cards, which is very, very interesting as well. Probably the only category that's harder than regular All Cards, funny enough. And, the reason I bring that up now is because the next thing that we're gonna have to do is a rather infamous trick called Clippy Boots. And just to give a little perspective, I've probably put 20 hours of practicing that trick alone in the past week since I found out we were going to get into the marathon, because it is extremely difficult and can soft lock you if you make even a tiny mistake. So that's coming up. We're definitely taking a safety save before that one.
Yeah, Clippy Boots is really scary.
Yeah.
It's also really cool.
It is cool. But you would think you're past all of the hard stuff after that card LZS in Chapter 2 with a really tiny ceiling, but there's one more hurdle that the route throws at you before you can move on.
It's this.
Yeah.
The segment between Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 is possibly the most stressful in the entire run because of how deep it is and how easy it is to ruin your save file. Oh, the blue house isn't open yet. What am I doing? I don't seem to do that. I just head over there. So we're finally gonna do that.
Yo, the save?
You're right. What am I doing?
Also, the sound effects? Were you getting that
You're
now,
right.
or?
You're right. Oh my gosh. You're right. I'm so sorry. So this is actually the best time to pick up the next sound effects badge, and I forgot until it was mentioned just now.
Since we were going up for the save anyways, I figured I'd mention it.
Yeah, we would have been getting it pre-Chapter 8 probably if I'd forgotten it here, which would be a little slower, but we want to see.
But we want the sounds now.
Here's another cutscene if you would like to read out any messages.
Of course, I would like to send a massive shout out and thank you to Argic, who has offered us his channel this weekend to host the Only Marathon. He streams every day apart from Thursday and Friday. Feel free to follow this channel if you like Sonic speedrunning, or join for casual gameplay every Tuesday. I know this isn't a Sonic game, but Mario has blue suspenders, so definitely related. I think there's a clear overlap between those two things.
Well, Sonic likes to go fast, and so do we, so I think there's a clear correlation there.
I think there's a pretty good case to be made there. Anyway, we're about to do Clippy Boots. It's yeah.
So the way this trick works is basically when you get on top of Lackey, Mario gains a smaller hurt box for himself, and you can abuse this by getting into an encounter and frame perfectly, pulling up the partner menu. And what that does is, after you switch partners, Mario's hitbox will just stay small because the game thinks it is small from being on Lackey before the encounter happened. And what that lets you do is it's gonna let you jump on top of some otherwise, like, unreachable collision. Nice first try.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
Not yet. There's still some bit left. After you get on top of this collision, you're gonna kind of just wedge yourself in, and then just jump over the ultra block here.
Yeah, this is called Clippy State. After doing that trick, wow, there we go. First try. That was awesome.
That trick is not easy.
That trick is ridiculously stressful, and it's one of the biggest barriers towards anybody who wants to learn this category. It saves like 5 minutes, and maybe even more. I'm not sure if it's been timed fully, but it saves around that much, and my goodness, is it's really, really easy to mess up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut in again, but we just hit 12.5K raised for charity. That is over $12,500 raised for the Trevor Project. Thank you again so much to everyone who's donating. This is incredible.
Let's go.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Let's see y'all.
Good job, everyone. You're really killing it out here. I feel like I'm just sitting here playing a video game. You guys are putting in the real work.
Yeah, it's an honor to be commentating for an event like this.
Honestly. So, you guys are probably confused why we're going back to the volcano.
Well, this is chapter 7, right?
Wait, was I only supposed to start getting confused now?
Valid.
Very
That's a good
valid.
answer.
So, remember when we mentioned how unique the volcano escape sequence was way back in Chapter 5? Well, we're just gonna do it again.
With the help from our friend Lackluster.
Yeah.
Remember those bonus features I was talking about?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna make use of some of those.
The way this escape sequence works is that it takes whatever chapter you're in. So right now we're in a post-Chapter 6 state, so we've watched the Chapter 6 cutscene for Peach already. And we're just gonna do the escape sequence, and what that does is the game checks for what chapter you're in, and it's like, oh, you've watched this Peach cutscene, so now we're gonna play the next one.
Yep.
And that's gonna teleport us all the way to Chapter 7. That's why we call it peach warping. And
This can
so
also solve Lucky, by the way, if you make a significant enough mistake.
it can. This saves, in this category, this saves like probably 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, so
If I had to
normally,
guess.
normally this area here is covered by lava, so we can't go down, but by using Lackluster's bonus features, we can flip out there and fall into the loading zone below. This is a Lackey teleport that we need to do so that we don't get stuck here. Lackey, if you jump off of him and then walk forward and then get back on, it's a frame perfect trick. He will just send you through some walls for some reason. Lackluster is weird. And we can use that to avoid some invisible walls in the center of that room that would otherwise get us trapped. And hey, look, we're escaping the volcano.
Yeah. I think there's something really funny about the fact that this run has... I missed a pie jump, which is so...
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh. And... chest on chest action. All right.
Yeah, the
you
game
can
doesn't
continue.
despawn the other ones. So, anyway, this run's been really silly. Like, we missed a pie jump. I failed the second Lackey clip in Peach Warp. And those are two of, like, the easiest things that we do in the entire run. But early Lackluster, like 15 double frame perfect inputs followed by a precise angle out of bounds, no issue. Flippy Boots, a frame perfect partner menu open into a very sensitive clip into the floor, no problem. Usually it's kind of like you get everything or you get nothing, but this is a very strange mix of things. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're still encounterless, right?
Yes.
I don't think I've touched anything yet. That's also very difficult.
Twink Slap.
So anyway,
It's
this
our
took
first
us...
instance.
So since we were since we were in a Chapter 7 state when we did Peach Warp, it takes us to the end of the chapter. It thinks we beat it already. But we don't have the Chapter 7 card yet. And so we actually cannot move to the end of the game just yet. There's one more thing, one more card we have to get, and that card is inside Crystal Palace.
So now the game thinks we're in a post-Chapter 7 state, so how are we going to make it think we're in a Chapter 7 state again? Literally just enter this, what's it called, Crystal Palace. And entering that door for the first time makes the game think that you're in Chapter 7 now. So now we're in Chapter 7.
Yep. And that actually ends up in us watching the same Peach intermission twice, which is a funny side effect of using Peach Warp to skip about half of Chapter 7.
So more lackluster bonus features here. We need to get to the other side. You want to take this one, Morpheus?
Yeah, so basically we're kind of nudging Lackluster along this mirror, and what that's gonna let us do is, like, he's gonna shoot back towards you after you move far enough, and with that speed, you're gonna just teleport to the other side of the wall. It's like you have 2 or 3 frames to hit it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's
our
straight.
Mario is the backside Mario now. It can get a little confusing, but look for the ribbons when we spin.
Yeah, it's very visually confusing. A lot of new players, when they're picking up this game, have a bit of a hard time, like, telling if they even got the clip or not at first, just because of the way the camera focuses right here. So the reason we did that is it skipped the fight with 2 duplicates that we don't want to do because we're trying to go fast. Also, as a response to the pasta going around in chat, I will not slow down. I'm sorry. I have a princess to save.
So you have something very interesting coming up here in a few moments. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there are any other instances of this in any other games. Baumet is demonstrating mitosis.
Yeah, there's suddenly just 5 of her. Which one's the real one? I don't know.
Which one is the real one?
All of a sudden, I'm really compelled to hit this one with my hammer.
Oh wait, never mind.
God, that was a duplighost. That wasn't mitosis. Oh, that one was a duplighost too. Oh my gosh. I'm really glad I haven't hit the real Bombette yet.
Yeah, sure is convenient.
That they're always the same.
Yeah, so in lore, you're supposed to tell apart which one's the real Bombette, because the other ones have, like, ticks in their speech. Like, one of them has a heart in their text box. Another one has a star. It's just stuff like that that lets you tell which Bombette is the correct one, and you have to hit all the others. If you fail to do that, it starts a fight, unfortunately.
Yeah. So coming up here, we have a bunch of fights in a row. We are going to, since we don't have Peril, we are going to make use of the powerful Ultra Boots here. And these Magic Koopas, if they're the only enemy left in the fight, they make a tactical retreat. And this is very helpful for many reasons. The first of which being that we don't get star points from them if they run away in this fashion. And the second being, we don't have to beat them. And it's fast to not beat them in some cases.
Here, we're gonna use Up and Away to not get any star points. This has a 95% chance of working on every individual enemy.
Fun fact, this is the Chapter 7 Star Spirit power. So we are using Kalmar's Star Spirit power to save Kalmar.
While we're finishing up this fight, is it a good time for some donations, or would you like me to wait for the Peach cutscene coming up?
Absolutely. Actually, there's a fair amount of gameplay left in the palace. You have plenty of time.
Awesome. I wanted to shout out Sugar Scraps, who donated $91.36 with a comment saying no comment. That is what put us over that 12.5k milestone. So thank you so much, Sugar Scraps. Since then, though, we've had a bit of back and forth between a few people. So Dirakshanar, wow, let me try to say this one again. Dirakshanar donated $1.51 saying, Digit Shufflers, I consider you an ally to Chaos and appreciate your deeds, but it's too orderly for my taste. Chaos must reign! Digit destruction! That was followed up by $7.03 from the Sound Defense, saying, I'm now very curious as to what number will win out, which was followed up again by $3.21 from Dirakshanar, saying, shuffle all you like, Chaos will win. So we have a ton of back and forth happening right now to try to figure out how orderly or chaotic our final donation total will be. So please keep donating if you're interested in that battle. It's really fun to watch.
I don't want to do that puzzle again, so I'm not going to.
That one was too hard
is
anyway.
Definitely too hard.
Yeah, I couldn't tell which one was actually Cooper. Fun fact, that glitch was actually patched in in every other release of the game. That is a JP exclusive.
Yeah, they made it. It was so hard on JP, they had to fix it.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into, like, or this is like the first main example of the main gimmick, I guess, of this dungeon. Everything you do on one side of the mirror happens on the other. I guess this shows off with the breaking the panel too earlier on.
Yeah. This badge is P up, D down. This is a very powerful badge because it only costs 2 badge points to equip, and it raises our power by 1, at the cost of our defense lowering by 1, which can also be useful in some cases if we need to manipulate Peril.
There is a very important use for that on Final Bowser, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I see a pasta is circulating in my name right now. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said that, but I could if you guys wanted to give some more money to the Trevor Project. I could be convinced into reading that out loud.
You heard him, chat.
Also, this which one is Bombette poll was genius.
I see the results. I didn't see the poll itself. I see that the bomb won. Very nice.
So I'm sorry
wasn't a ghost?
Sorry. I apologize for breaking in again so soon, but we just hit 13K.
Oh my
We
gosh.
raised $13,000 for charity.
I was gonna say that if we hit 13K, I would read that pasta, but not. I think I have to settle for something higher after that. Wow. What do you guys say about 13.5, and I'll read that out loud for y'all?
13.5, wow. You drive
If
off
I can read the
hard
donation
bargain.
that got us. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna read the donation that got us there. Sabera donated $500
Wow.
and said 12.5K? Why not $13,000? This has been a beautiful event for a great cause. You're all amazing. Heart, and the heart even has a little sparkle on it on my screen. So thank you so much, Sabera, for your generosity.
I'm saving because this is another boss where there is a 2% chance that he will decide that we are done. So,
Yeah.
we don't want that to happen. It's pretty unfortunate. There is a backup you can attempt, but honestly, it's more likely to work and much safer to just attempt the fight again, as opposed to doing that backup. So that's probably what I'll do if I get through cap.
It pretty much is a coin flip if it works, I think.
More or less, yeah.
And loses too much time.
You guys want to explain this boss?
Yeah, this is Crystal King. Crystal King every turn will summon bits if there aren't any, and will send the bits at you if there are any, which means Crystal King does not attack every other turn. And this is very useful because we can spend all of those turns super jump charging, for instance, which we are doing right now. And Crystal King will continue to do this pattern until he's below half health, I believe. And so if we just defeat him in one turn, we never have to see the rest of his moves.
The rest of the fight is magnitudes harder than just taking him out all at once on the, like, before he shifts his phase. So it's very, very preferable to take him out instantly if possible. And we, not only did we not get 3, we actually got 5, which is optimal for this fight, so that's good.
Yeah, he has a lot of annoying abilities, like summoning duplicates that are sometimes fake, and gaining health, and all sorts of annoying things.
Yeah, this is actually... It's much more difficult of a boss fight than it looks, and Puff and Puff was actually that way too. Their unique mechanics actually make them fairly challenging for a game that most people remember as being pretty easy. But we don't have to deal with that if we use the power of Super Jump Charge, Mega Rush, and Power Bounce. So, for those of you keeping track, there were 7 Star Spirits. We have saved all 7 of them now. This is our last card, so we've fulfilled the requirements for the the all cards category now, and now all that's left to do is to invade Bowser's castle and beat the game.
Yeah, so if there are any words from our host, now's a good time.
Absolutely. We had $20 come in from Lopez, who says, "Hey M4, read the pasta during the peach cutscene." I think we said we need to raise a little bit more money first, though. We're getting closer than I thought we would right away. The sound effects coming in... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's another very good opportunity in the middle of Chapter 8. There's a quiz that lasts about 2 minutes, so if we can hit 13.5 by roughly the midpoint of the final chapter, I'll read it then. Or an epilogue, if it takes that long.
Well, we're definitely getting closer. The Sound Defense donated $166.10, saying, "Hilarious comment about digit shuffling." Classic Sound Defense. And then we had $50 coming in from Fruit, who says, "Thank you all for the wonderful event. This has been a phenomenal couple of days, and I'm super proud of everyone involved." And with all these donations coming in, we're actually already at $13,315.74. So 13.5K is looking awfully achievable at this point. Oh, we also just got one to change that number, so I get to say it again. The new donation total, very interesting, is $13,333.37. And that was from Ori Sky with a donation of $17.63, and the comment is just,
Yeah. I love that. I don't know if anybody, during the process of, vetting might have looked at my Discord tag. I was randomly assigned 1337 when I made my Discord, 5 years ago or however long it was. So seeing that just makes me laugh a lot. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, if that was intentional, good job. If that was not intentional, that's funny.
I did not choose it.
No, I mean to the people donating for that number.
There's no way that was unintentional. That's too funny to be... That would be too funny for that to be true.
Yeah, so now we're just headed out through chapter 7, which, you know, the same way we came, of course.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we were totally here before.
through the volcano, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Volcano is pretty cold this time of year.
yeah, sure looks different by the time, or from the time we stepped in. Are we sure this isn't in Antarctica? Anyway, I feel compelled to go over here and invade this dude's house for some reason.
So you may be wondering why we are disrespecting this guy's shelves. We are collecting the last sound effects badge. Now with all 5 sound effects badges on, we have a 20% chance of each sound effect. So if you have a favorite, every time you hear it, that was a 20% chance to hear it.
And now we have reached our highest power level that we're going to see during the entire run. We have all 5 sound effects badges. We have power bounce, which means we can hear several of them in the same attack. Like, this just couldn't be better. Anyway, we're upgrading Sushi. There's a very important reason for this, despite the fact that we only used her in one fight earlier. We will go over that when we get to the final boss battle. It is some of the most beautiful routing I've ever seen in any game, is the fight that we use on Bowser, and I'm really excited to get to show that off in a marathon.
Oh yeah.
So now we're doing reverse Blue House Skip, where we simply walk out of the house.
Yeah, now that we have all of the Star Spirits, we have to make our way back to Shooting Star Summit, and the Star Spirits will open a way up to Star Haven.
Yeah, so the Green Devil did not get in our way this time, thankfully.
Yeah. I think he was satisfied with his performance earlier. That was easily 30 seconds.
Yeah,
that
was some of the worst.
About. It was still faster than watching the cutscenes, though, which is amazing. That saves so much time that he can just like dawdle on the left side of the screen for a really long time, and you still end up like with a net positive on your time save. So that's really nice.
We have more donations if you'd like them.
Yeah, now's a good time.
We probably have a good 3 to 5 minutes or so from right here.
Okay. Well, I do want to say, unfortunately, the lead didn't last too long. Within, I think, about a minute, we got another donation. Prometheus donating $1.69, saying, "Read the pasta, Argacam." We're getting closer. And then we have a $13.37 donation from Leet, who says, if I could make a suggestion, I'm worried the player's moving too fast. I humbly suggest they slow down and actually enjoy the game instead of rushing through all the time. So thank you for that donation, Lee. With that, our new total is $13,348.43. We're currently trying to get to 13.5K. If we do, we have a commitment from the runner that they will read the pasta, which seems incredible. That'd be a great way to finish this off. So let's see if we can make that happen. We're very, very close. Just need a little bit more help to get us there.
So that room we did with the 3 embers is actually one of the hardest rooms in the game, and we don't there's been new technology lately that makes it like a lot easier. It's a funny way to say it, technology, but like that's kind of how it is. So a few different players were fed up of getting encounters that were basically random in that room. So we looked into things we could do to manip the little embers, and as it turns out, it's not much slower to lure them a little bit with your movement than it is to just YOLO your way through the room. So we're doing that just because this run's still encounterless. I don't want anything to compromise that at this point. It's been too good.
Is that the Shroom Cake Kid?
That was the Shroom Cake Kid, yeah.
Was it? I think
Yeah,
so.
so we're flying to Bowser's Castle in this bathtub, and they think we're a shooting star, so that little toad is wishing for Shroom Cake, lots and lots of Shroom Cake.
We got a lot of memeing in chat right now. This is
Yeah. This is starting to look like a normal Paper Mario speedrun.
Yeah, this is starting. We in the Paper Mario community are gigantic meme heads, and it's not like we ever do anything besides just copy something and paste it anyway.
Yeah, we love pasta.
Yeah. It's my favorite
You know, it'd be
food.
cool. I think it'd be awesome if we started getting more copy-paste donations. Just throwing that out there. If you like copy-pasting things, that's something with a message. And unlike our runner, I do have to read all of these.
Yeah, just keep donating the same
Feel
message.
free. Oh wait, speaking of copy pastas, we actually just hit 13.5k raised for charity.
Wow.
That is yeah, so get ready to read when we get to that point. That was partially from my $150 donation from Torm7 saying, getting there, smiley face. We also did have $15 come in from Directiona, who says, this taps me out, but wanted to say thanks to all the runners, comms and hosts and donation battlers for a great weekend of speedrunning. Truly has cheered me up greatly. Thank you so much, everyone. 13.5k hype.
Yeah, just make sure that pasta stays fresh in chat. Because it's going to be a little bit before we get to the time we're going to read it.
You know, I'm starting to think that maybe I lowballed it even with 13.5. Maybe we should do something else. Anyone got any ideas? If we hit 14k?
I can't think of anything. I mean,
I'm drawing blanks.
Yeah, me neither. I really can't. Like, all the incentives have already been hit. We already have all the sound effects badges equipped. That was meant before the run even started. Luigi's coming to the party. I'm honestly, like, not sure what else to do.
Yeah, definitely just overwhelmed with the amount of support. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's truly been incredible, and I was incredibly nervous. Ari commented, you know, when we got into the green room VC that I had a case of the shaky voice going on. I was so nervous to do this, but the level of support and the way the run has been going, this has been an absolutely incredible experience.
Yeah, so you may be wondering, why are we just floating around over here? There's a bit of a silly trick over here that you can do.
Turns out the Ultra Boots also have some bonus features.
They sure do.
Yeah. I think this has to do with the way the block is facing, like, for the camera. It's weird.
Yeah, it's because the block is not facing the same direction Mario is. It's Ultra Boots are weird.
We could, in theory, do that with the Super Boots, too, if there are any blocks that were low enough, but I don't think there are in the entire game.
Yeah, there's a few places throughout the game where we can use the Ultra or Super Boots to gain a little bit of height like that. And I think that's the only one we're going to see in this run.
Alright, so we got Door 2 now. This is one of the faster-paced segments of Chapter 8, even though there is an entire quiz show at the end.
It's also very hard, so and you have soft lock opportunity, so I'm probably not going to say anything for the next two segments.
There's a lot of action here. So this first thing we have here, this is the Flood Room. We are going to do a series of tricks that is collectively called the Fast Flood Room. Remember how Lackluster has a bunch of bonus features? Well, we're going to be seeing those again. It turns out basically every corner in these rooms can be clipped out with Lackluster, so we're going to be doing a lot of that. Also, once this back panel opens, we can do the same thing to fall under this panel here, and then we're going to fall towards the back of the room, and since there's nowhere for Mario to stand, he's going to go back to his previous location, so we're going to be on the back seam. Then we're going to go left along that back seam, land under this key, have Cooper out, and then we're going to do a Cooper shell toss, which is going to shoot us into the air. This is called a Cooper super jump. This happens when you fall out of bounds. Mario's vertical velocity is improperly set, and that value is called when you use Cooper. So because we fell out of bounds, when we use Cooper, we're going to fly into the air, and that enables us to grab the castle key. A lot going on there, but basically we can grab the castle key and complete that puzzle very quickly. And then followed immediately after this, we have Cannonless, where we're going to use some more bonus features with Lackluster to clip at this corner, fall out of bounds, and land on the back seam. This allows us to dodge all of the cannons. Accidental extra fall there, but it's fine. And yeah, that's Fast Flood Room and Cannonless. All happens very quickly. Morpheus, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so Sushi's kind of bugged. Whenever you have her out in the field and there's enemies out, they're just not decide to first strike you. Like, they hammered that first bone that the dry bones threw, and after that point, the only thing the dry bones can do is just run at Mario, and you saw how slow that was. And you don't usually see this too often. This is mainly like using glitchless because you have Sushi out just because you needed her at certain points, but we just wanted to show that off here because it's kind of goofy looking.
Yeah, also that dry bones can hit you with the bone, sometimes randomly, and if you do that with Sushi, the dry bones will not be able to hit you with the bone, and we would prefer to not get hit by the bone.
I was a little worried that Hammer Bro was gonna end my encounterless run right there. That was kind of sus looking. Alright, here's the Door 2 quiz. It is copy pasta time.
Right, where's that pasta?
Someone post it right now. I'm gonna do a dramatic reading. These answers are all the same, by the way. Alright. Actually, maybe I should copy paste this into Notepad so I
We have it in the Discord for you if you would like to read it out of there.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. That works better. Okay. Wait, where is it? What channel is it in?
The live production one. Secret behind the scenes details chat. Ignore what I'm saying. Live production latest message.
I cannot see that channel.
Then I will copy it somewhere else. 1 second, everyone.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
All good. There you go. Runners and commentators.
Using the pasta as intended.
Dearest Paper Mario, I humbly apologize for the misguided and completely baseless claims to beat you fast. After minutes of reflection, I've come to realize that you were an amazing casual game, and I'm truly sorry for my attitude for the last 2 hours. I appreciate all the times that you've been there for me, even though I wasn't there for you. Thank you, Paper Mario.
Wow, 10 out of 10 apology right there. That was beautiful. Thank you.
We are sorry,
giving me the
Paper
chance
Mario.
to do that, yeah. Oh, Pape. Despite all the frustrations I've had with this game, it's still definitely my favorite game of all time. I can't stay away.
It's too fun.
It really is.
So these answers are always the same. We just need to get 5 correct.
Pretty nice breather after all those tricks in a row.
Yeah. That segment is super tough.
It's very stressful, and it does not take much to lose like 10 seconds there. Like, I probably did. I think the extra falls and black eclipse might have been pretty costly, but this isn't a PB attempt. This is a showcase, so we don't really have to worry about that. Just as long as we make it to the end.
While we're doing that, do we have time for a few more donations, or would you like me to hold off?
We have a little bit. This is actually probably the best time left in the run.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to get them all through. We had $10 come in from Tip, who says, why do they call it oven when you in the cold food out hot eat the food? Classic question. We also had $5 from Anonymous and $10 from Anonymous, so thank you for that. From the Sound Defense, we have $34.19, and they say, TGHSR, I had everything. All right, then. We had $10 from Phantom 5800 saying, MX_4 is pretty cool. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, and by the way, we have another $400 from Sabera, who says, I have to go to bed, but really quickly, how does the Mushroom Kingdom charge for extra lives? Paper Mario! Good night.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was on at first.
That was beautiful.
Oh, that's pretty good.
With that, we're only like $18 away from 14K. We could 100% hit 14K during this run. Chat, please help us get there. That would be so darn cool.
Oh, hey, look, it's Peach.
Hey, she escaped.
Yeah, I guess we're done here.
I guess we can just go watch the credits now.
Wait, what?
Wait a minute.
I've seen this
Save
before.
Peach from that guy. Wait, this isn't saving her. Wait, yes it is. Yeah, that was an enemy after all.
By the way, at this point, we are now officially encounterless. that was the last room with enemies that we can run into. So
Yeah.
well done.
Very impressive.
Not getting a single encounter in a run this long is actually really hard.
And
It
up and
wasn't
away
until-
worked.
I've been running this game for about 2.5 years, and like it's still really kind of unusual for me to get an encounterless run, no matter the category. So I'm really happy with that.
Hey, look, remember these guys?
I don't. Wait, yes I do. We actually did fight them. Never mind.
Wrong category.
I was thinking any percent for a moment, but yeah. Remember this
This
guy? We ran into
one-
him once on Pleasant Path.
And
Yeah.
now
Sorry to
he's
interrupt you again.
jacked.
I know I'm interrupting like all over the place this run, but it's because we keep getting donations and we just hit $14,000 raised for the Trevor Project during this marathon. Thank you so much, everyone, for making that happen. That is just mind-blowingly fantastic. Thank you.
That's awesome, guys. So for this fight, we're gonna make use of quick change. Conveniently, with our badge setup, Junior Troopa, when blocked, deals 7 damage, and we have 15 health, so we can very easily get into peril and use Bo's ability to stall extra turns, so that we can set up enough super jump charges to hopefully take him down in 1 turn for cap.
Ooh, you guys like Starstorm?
That's pretty unlucky. That's pretty unlucky. That's about a 1 in 3 chance that you get capped there and have to do out of sight Starstorm, but it is accounted for in the route, so that's not a big deal. It's just slow.
Yeah,
Honestly,
this is-
that's just more time for you guys to raise more money for the Only Marathon, don't you think? Maybe
Would you
this
like
is
me
a
to
good
read a
thing.
donation during Starstorm?
But go ahead.
I'm just really excited about all of this. The donation that put us over was Exiat donating $18, saying some call for $18. And that was, in fact, what got us to that 14K. We also did have a $4.20 donation coming in from Anonymous. So we're currently at $14,004.82. Thank you again, everyone. This is awesome.
Yeah, so we picked up that jam and jelly way earlier, and we're eating it now. If we were to heal normally or use any other item that restored HP, we would lose peril, and we need peril for this next fight.
Yeah, so when you do categories that aren't any percent, your hallway Bowser is kind of a joke. He's
Assuming you have
like,
bow.
Yeah, assuming you have bow, yeah. But honestly, he is 10 times easier than Junior Troopa that we just fought. It's actually kind of hilarious.
So hopefully we will defeat him in 2 turns, but let's see what happens. It all depends on the caps.
I forgot to rebadge. This is gonna be a
Oh,
fight,
no.
actually.
Ooh.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm still gonna win, especially if I get caps like that.
Yeah.
But there's no 2-turn if you forget to put on PFP down there.
Yeah.
I think if you got like actually awful caps, you could still win, but or still lose rather like that. But I think we'll be okay. I did 20 with the first one,
does he
15
have?
with the second one. He should have 15 HP, so he'll die. He'll die to a 3 bounce next turn. I'm not throwing for to extend the marathon. I promise. I would never do something like that. Just so that's clear.
Yeah, thankfully this guy is so much of a pushover. We didn't even need to rebadge.
Yeah, if we did rebadge and he star shielded there, we could just jump through his quote-unquote invincibility.
Yeah, for some
Spoilers.
reason in this fight, it doesn't actually make him invincible.
I got 3 capped twice on All-Way Bowser in 3 bounces.
16%. Gotta love it.
Yeah, so that's 16% to get a 3 cap. We got 2 of them in 3 bounces. That is exceptionally unlucky. But it still wasn't enough. And I'm gonna combine the rebadges and just do all of them at the end. Might take me a sec to figure out what I'm supposed to have on, because this is a bit of an unusual situation. But no big deal.
Yeah, if you have any other donations or anything, now's a good time.
I also just want to say at the beginning of this run, we were trying really hard to get to 12k so Luigi could come to the party, and now we're at 14k. We raised over $2,000 during just this Paper Mario run, so absolutely fantastic job, everyone. We also did have $20 coming in from DisgayaFan77. No comment, but thank you. And heck, even before this run, we had raised over $1,000 for these awesome SFX badges that we get to have as part of this run. So chat, you're doing absolutely incredible. 15k's up next if anyone wants to try to hit that. Like, I would be amazed, but honestly, I'm already just flabbergasted by what we've been able to accomplish. So thank you again from the absolute bottom of my heart to everyone for supporting such an absolutely fantastic cause.
Yeah, we only needed 12,000 to get Luigi to the party. I think with this much, we can probably get him a limousine. What do you think?
I think that's a great investment. Let's spoil Luigi. What do you guys think? Alright, so this fight comes in two phases. The first phase is... It's kind of like the first battle in the game, more or less, only you have just a...
Oh.
Resetting. I wasn't supposed to have super jump charge on. I made a mistake. Which I honestly, I'm not surprised I did because the situation's just strange. So, hang on, let me give this another... Okay, I still didn't put PFD down on. That would have been really funny, but...
It looks good to me.
It's correct now. I don't care. I'm not using 2Ds, then let's just go. This is the only way I can be sure that it's correct. The rematch before final normally is like 2 inputs, so it took some memory there to figure out what I was supposed to do. Anyway, we're all set now, I promise.
Yeah, so
this
the
fight is split into 2 phases.
Thank you,
And basically what's gonna happen is we're gonna try to damage Bowser as much as we can early on with Power Bounce, because we have Peril, we have FP for Power Bounce, and we can still use Out of Sight. So we're gonna try to do as much damage as we can in this first phase, and how much we do early on will determine whether or not we have to use a Life Shroom. Not very common situation to use it, but it can happen and is accounted for.
That was better.
Yeah, so again, this first phase, we are just trying to deal as much as we can. Any extra damage?
Not a good start.
Yeah. Any extra damage is going to help us later.
Recap there is very normal. It's 50% likely to happen.
What we
really
like to
did not
see...
want you. What's up?
Yeah, the
Alright,
double
Bowser.
recap.
Yeah.
Alright, buddy. Thanks.
Very normal, unfortunately.
Yeah, so this sends us to the intermission. If there's anything for the host to say, now's a good time.
Honestly, I was sitting over here panicking, going, wait, there was something I needed to remember about the Bowser fight, and it was that's when we had to meet Luigi by, which we did, like, 2 hours ago.
We might have overshot that a little bit. You guys have done fantastic. Thank you so much.
You made that happen. I just want to read our donation total out again for everyone. We are at $14,024.82 raised for the Trevor Project during the Only Marathon. Thank you, everyone. I know people in chat were saying, oh my goodness, staff must be blown away by this. Absolutely. I think everyone here is blown away by the amount of support we've gotten throughout this event, and it's incredible. An incredible feeling to be able to help with something like this and to have all of your support leading us in through this final run. So thank you again to everyone.
Yeah, so our Star Beam was not enough to dispel Bowser's Star Rod powers, so we need a little help from Peach and Twink. And that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, this time Bowser is truly invincible. There is nothing we can do right now.
Nothing we can do except sit through this, like, 2-minute fight.
And pray.
Yeah.
That's actually what's happening.
Yeah, quite literally.
Peach
is
is
spending
praying.
her turn to pray.
Peach is praying to get Twink buff to beat up Kammy Koopa.
Yeah, really quick, I noticed that the estimate is 3 hours, and that was actually the estimate without the sound effects badges. So I think our target here is actually 305, or if we're going to if we're going to be more specific about my personal target, that would be beating 30418. You know, because of the history with my friend. So I think, I'm pretty sure we can do this. I think I was on sub 3 pace until I forgot to rebatch correctly for final, so.
Yeah, I think we're on pace.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, so this fight coming up here is
Yeah,
one of the most beautiful fights.
I'm gonna need you and Morph to explain everything. I need every ounce of my concentration for this fight.
Alright, so it is absolutely imperative that these blocks are hit. And there's 3 different attacks Bowser will do at the start of the fight. There's either the butt stomp, the claw attack, or doing fire. And it doesn't matter which one he does, thankfully. We just need to block both of them, both attacks. They will both end up doing 7 because of what we're going to do at Sushi. Turn 1, we're going to set up Water Block, and what that does is it ups Mario's defense by 1, plus an additional 1 defense for fire-based attacks. So that on top of, like, P up, D down, will make it so that... And Fire Shield. That's right, I forgot about Fire Shield.
Yeah, every attack he can do is going to deal 7 to us if we block.
Yeah, it's really, really cool, and because we have Quick Change equipped, we get to use a lot of different partners.
Yeah, so setting up the water block, as we mentioned. And note we have 15 HP, so getting hit with 7 twice is going to put us in peril. We only actually need the 2 turns of this water block, because we are never going to get hit for the rest of the fight. Ideally.
Here comes Paracarry, because he's fast, and we have enough FP to shell shot. And
very nice.
That's it. He cannot. There is nothing he can do anymore to hit you in this phase of the fight.
Another 3 cap.
Well, there's one thing, and that's if I don't get 7 extra damage from bounces. But let's keep track. We are 3 for 3 on 3 caps, and I actually 3 capped me twice as well. Absolutely disgustingly bad RNG.
So
coming
far,
out for the end of the marathon.
Yeah. It's 28% chance that he does 3 cap in this phase of the fight, and you're 40% likely to get at least 4 bounces. So these are some pretty bad bounces so far.
Yeah, so now we're going to dispel the Star Rod again, and then we're going to switch to Watt and use Watt's turbocharge ability, which we upgraded Watt for earlier. Again, in this fight we get to see all of our friends. This turbocharge is going to raise Mario's attack by 1, and just 1 attack bonus is going to translate to a lot of extra damage combined with Power Bounce. Because every single bounce is going to deal 1 more.
We need 2 4 caps if we want to save a life room.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is really, really bad.
That's brutal.
Hang on. I need 5. So we have a 31% chance of not having the worst fight possible. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness! What is going on? So this is why we have that life shroom. Getting quadruple 3 cap, by the way, is under a 2% chance. No, it's 2% for quadruple. We just got quintuple 3 cap. So we have to do another Starstorm! Because he has 7 HP! That's incredible!
Wow, what a way to end it all, huh?
What bad RNG to end this marathon. Oh my gosh.
That's just Bowser letting you all know how he's always in control at the end.
Yeah. This is what awaits you at the end of a Paper Mario run.
This is why I didn't do both skip, because if I had done both skip, this marathon was never ending. He would just have killed me over and over again. If that fight was any indication, but that is Paper Mario. There's another 6 minutes of epilogue. Timing ends just a couple frames after the last input on the frame that Peach raises her hands into the air. So, yeah, this is basically it. We have a fair amount of time of me just holding the B button, and then there's 3 rooms of movement, and we have to hold the B button again, and then it's over. So, That was Paper Mario All Cards on Nintendo 64.
Yeah, really fun run.
GG's, well played.
Yeah, the execution was fantastic. No encounters is a huge achievement there.
No doubt. Oh my gosh, the adrenaline always kicks in after you deal the final blow to Bowser. You know, the realization sets in. Because when you run this game, you spend the entire run like generally worried about the terrible things Bowser is going to do to you, because it's very interesting. That fight simplifies him down to, like, this is why that fight's so beautiful. It simplifies him down to, if you take these actions on these turns and have a life shroom, you will win every single time, no matter what he does.
Yeah.
But basically every other route has at least some risk of Bowser's general misconduct causing you to die. Even some of the safest fights can be thrown completely into turmoil by missing a single block or getting really unlucky on a specific turn.
We quite literally got the worst possible RNG there, and we still won.
There is literally no worse. I'm gonna pull up a calculator really quick and plug the odds of a quintuple 3 cap on that fight, because that was just filthy. And after getting double 3 on hallway too.
While you're crunching those numbers, can I fit in some last donations?
Please
Go right
do.
ahead.
Please do.
Thank you. We had $20 from Blitz Hedgie, who says, "You're all amazing. Everyone's generosity is so heartwarming. And thank you again to all the runners, staff, and volunteers who have put this together." We then had $96.59 from the Sound Defense, who said, "I propose a truce between chaos and order." And that donation put the donation total at 1414141. Which was a really neat number. But we're back to a bit of chaos again. Rubik's Ninja 314 donated $15.93, bringing our current donation total to $14,000 or $14,157.34. Also, chat is reminding you, please make sure we bring Luigi.
Yeah, I'm going to put my controller down, because the Luigi Skip is holding down on the control stick. That's it. So, it's so easy to do that on accident. You know, it saves 7 seconds. It's allowed in glitchless. I am conditioned to do that every single time. So I'm just putting my controller down when it comes time, so we can actually bring Luigi with us.
It's so easy that I've forgotten to do it in runs. I've had multiple PBs where I just forget to do Luigi Skip because it's just so part of the run. Like, it's in every category, even glitchless. It's really funny.
Just watching all the closing stuff here. Barricari is telling everyone to come back to the castle for a party. And of course, Luigi is invited.
Yeah, this cutscene is pretty lengthy.
Yeah. It's kind of nice, though. You get to wind down after the very intense Bowser fight.
It's a victory lap, for sure, watching this. And I think I was going to talk about why Bowser is such a difficult fight earlier to route. He has 3 different attacks that have different effects, and also, in Fire's case, do different amounts of damage. Fire does 2 more than his other 2 attacks. His claw attack is very difficult to block, and it poisons you for 3 turns if it hits, so you lose 1 HP before taking an action every turn. Butt Stomp, if you unblock it, takes one of your battle commands so that you can't use it on for your next, between 2 and 4 turns. That's actually RNG too, funny enough. And then he has Fire, which just does a lot of damage, and he puts his Star Shield back up on a random turn. He can use Shockwave, which I think he did when I was out of sighted on a random turn. It is very difficult to... Okay, I'm putting my controller down. It's very difficult to manipulate Peril on that fight. Very, very difficult. Okay, Luigi...
Here he comes.
Alright, I successfully skipped Luigi Skip. Alright.
There he is.
Let's
He's
go,
coming to the
Luigi!
party. There he goes.
I forgot that you actually start this part of movement in a different place if you don't do Luigi Skip.
Yeah, it re-equipping Speedy Spin there because it's so fast.
It saves about a second, even though you pull up the menu to redodge. Alright, time is coming up when Peach raises her hands after some talking. And... Done.
GG's.
GG's.
Thank you. Like I mentioned before at the beginning of this run, before we even started the timer, this is the most difficult category in Paper Mario relative to how long it is, and I knew when I saw I was closing out the marathon that there was no possible way I could do this category or the cause justice without Ari and Morpheus here with me. Thank you guys so much for, you know, accepting to do this and picking up the slack when I needed to be too focused to say anything, because there are a lot of tricks that had major soft lock or even death risks to them, and I'm very thankful that we managed to put out some good commentary despite that.
No problem. It was a lot of fun being on here, and I love getting to talk about all cards. It's my favorite category.
I think it might be mine too. I think it might be mine too. It's so difficult though. Oh my gosh.
It really is difficult.
I can't believe I got quintuple 3 I did the math, by the way. Do you guys want to know the numbers on that?
Sure, I feel like I've had just about similar odds before.
Alright, get ready for this. That specific Bowser fight, like not even counting like the attacks he did, just my power bounce caps, that was 0.54% chance to get a Bowser fight that bad.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's marathon luck, right? It's absolutely nasty just how much RNG there is in this game at a top level, but the game itself, like, we still play it anyway. We recognize how difficult it is, and how a lot of the time your work that you put in isn't necessarily going to be rewarded due to the fact that there's run-ending RNG literally everywhere if you're talking about a top-level run. And that was a good example of that. There's no way I would have survived the Bowser fight if I was using a route that wasn't 100% safe. Now, I guess it's pretty common for people to watch the credits at the end of these runs. They really don't make credits like this anymore. But I understand that this marathon has already gone on a lot longer than it was intended to. I know my run was delayed. I finished over estimate, so you know we will understand completely when the staff decide to take this one back from us. But I guess all in all, if I had to sum it up, shoutouts to the Paper Mario community, especially Morpheus and Ari. Ari runs Paper Mario Archives, which is a fantastic way to get started into your journey learning Paper Mario. It's still in construction, but it has a page for just about every trick you would do in every category. It has tricks for any percent. It has tricks for no Peach Warp. It has tricks for Bingo. It has tricks for Glitchless. I know that sounds weird, but it's like there's a lot going on in Glitchless too. And the Paper Mario community Discord has to be one of the most welcoming places I've ever been as far as learning new speed games. They're incredibly welcoming and kind, and I'm honored to have been able to be our representative for this marathon, for sure. And definitely shoutouts to the the0nlymarath0n staff for putting this together, and you know, I feel like it's almost against all odds that I was chosen to do this. I'm truly honored.
Are there any other final comments from anyone before we wrap this up? I'm sad to end, but you know, it has to at some point.
I know.
Right.
Yeah,
Every good thing has to end eventually, right?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all the hosts and all of the staff and everyone who put this together, and everybody who donated. You guys are really making a difference.
Pretty much same as Ari and M4. You guys just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, it was an honor to commentate here. That was a lot of fun.
All right, thank you so much. Chat, can we please get one more absolutely ginormous round of virtual applause for that awesome finale run? I will read off the last few donations that did come in. We had $12.35 from Nice, who just said nice. And then Eggman coming back in with $1.23 saying, "Return of me, yes, that's right, do not completely ignore me ruining the dono total again, and do not go higher and set a new record for donations." So thank you so much for that. But chat, with that, we have completed the last run of the event. Thank you again to everyone for supporting this. It's been an honor to be part of such a wonderful community effort in memory of someone so special. Before we sign off, we're going to have a few final words from the founder of Fast Paced Events, Amber Cyprin.